was supposed to be happening today, but they couldn't get the votes to pass it. Live in Washington, Fox's Rachel Sutherland.
Chris, Fox News has learned President Trump asked House Speaker Paul Ryan to pull this legislation this afternoon after a large number of Republicans said they still plan to vote no on the House floor. That means for now, Obamacare remains in place as Republicans strategize their next move on health care. The president tried to convince hardline conservatives, members of the Freedom Caucus, to vote for the bill, but they said it was too much like the Affordable Care Act and that tax credits to help people buy health insurance were a government entitlement. Chris.
Rachel, thanks. Okay, we'll see where we go from here on health care. Another issue that's been fought over for years, the Keystone XL oil pipeline is now permitted for construction, with President Trump saying,
"We're working out the final details as we speak. It's going to be an incredible pipeline, greatest technology, known to man or woman."
The Obama administration had held the project off. A man who stormed a pizza place in Washington, D.C. with guns looking to save kids is heading to prison. Here's Fox's Evan Brown.
Chris, the man from North Carolina who believed the so-called Pizzagate hoax and took his loaded firearms to the D.C. pizza parlor looking for human trafficking victims is now pleading guilty to federal crimes and will spend as long as 5 years in prison. Edgar Madison Welch of Salisbury, North Carolina, even started shooting at a locked door inside the pizza place, thinking child victims were inside. Nobody was inside. The whole story, which was intended to smear Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, has since been proven to be fake news, Chris.
Evan Brown, thanks. It's a pain for thousands of commuters in New York City this evening rush hour. 2 trains clipped each other this morning. That has service disrupted at Penn Station. Nobody is hurt, though. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Ready for a new tractor? At LS Tractor, we'll be the first to tell you to shop and compare. That's right, shop our competition. We're that confident that the LS Tractor combination of more standard features, better performance, competitive price, and proven commitment to customer satisfaction deliver value that's unequaled by another tractor. Period. Want more tractor for your money? Look around. You'll see there's one that gives it to you. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Getting some work done at the International Space Station.
The first of 3 planned spacewalks is now in the can, and the work is crucial for when we get back into launching American astronauts on board American-made spacecraft. All the day's action, roughly 250 miles up above us. Expedition 50 Commander Shane Kimbrough of NASA, along with the European Space Agency's flight engineer Thomas Pesquet, are preparing the space station to handle arriving SpaceX and Boeing spaceships as soon as next year. Their biggest assignment Friday was to prepare the pressurized mating adapter for installation for the second international docking adapter. This will enable commercial crew vehicles to dock up there safely in the future. Phil Keating, Fox News.
Criminal charges are filed against a man accused of holding women against their will in a $1 million home near Atlanta. He's Kendrick Roberts, 33 years old, arrested March 7th after a woman called 911 to say she and other women were being made to dance in strip clubs with a man threatening to kill her if she left. There is stepped-up security in Italy.
Extra security measures are in place in Italy after the London terror attack and upcoming weekend events in Rome and Milan. Heads of states from 28 European countries are in Rome to mark the 60 years since the founding of the European Union. Italy's terror threat is at 2, the highest level before a direct hit. Police are not only worried about terror attacks, but also riots by violent anti-EU protesters planned for Saturday. Pope Francis will meet with the European leaders today at the Vatican. On Saturday, he flies 15 minutes to the northern city of Milan to meet with the faithful, the poor, migrants, and prisoners before an open-air mass for 80,000. In Rome, Courtney Walsh, Fox News.
Again, our top story, a Republican health care bill is pulled before a planned vote with not enough support to pass. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
Yeah, Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by
Friday.
It is Friday, and a beautiful Friday.
Yeah,
brought to you by Chief Bauer. Give them a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight getting down to 53 degrees, and then tomorrow 66. We have some thunderstorms, about a 60% chance of those throughout the day, maybe a break in the middle of the day, and a rainy evening with a low of 54. Sunday, 59. Rainy in the morning, then clearing out. 45 the low Sunday. But it looks like 60s all next week.
Good.
Maybe rainy, but it will be warm. 76 and sunny. ESPN Radio.
Edition of the Tay and J Show. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter. We were off and rolling today, Jeremy, before you and I even got into the studio. The three interns and Carp were having a serious discussion.
Great conversation.
Absolutely. I walked in. I was like, really? This is interesting. And then you walked in even better.
As Andrew Tay looked on, and we were very judicious.
You were. Very, very, very. All right, boys, it's Friday. It is windy. It's sunny. And Illinois has a new women's basketball coach officially as Josh Whitman hires Nancy Fay and introduces her to Illini fans today.
Yeah,
so.
We'll hear a little bit from her. She had an impressive press conference I thought today. Comes with a good record, obviously, at the Division III level. A lot of the questions were about that jump from Division III to Division I. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Brad Underwood and her are down in St. Louis along with Josh Whitman.
Okay.
And Brad Underwood has a busy weekend ahead. He was with Javon Pickett last night, and Jamal Walker was there as well.
Nice.
And then tonight they will meet with Jeremiah Tillman and his family in East St. Louis. And then Sunday they will meet with Mark Smith down in Edwardsville. So a busy weekend of going back and forth in St. Louis.
Kind of an important weekend, I'd say. It's funny. Let's start with the guy that they started with, and Carp, the guy that we always kind of include last.
Always forget.
In this class. And it's funny that when this first came out, Trent Frazier, I think, was the first guy to say, I'm on board. I'm still in. DeMonte, we haven't really heard much from. And then, of course, Tillman, kind of you hoped, and as Jeremy and Derek Piper always allude to, that if Jamal Walker stays, there's probably a pretty good chance Jeremiah Tillman's going to come to Illinois. And then, of course, Mark Smith's out there. We know about him. But Javon Pickett's that one guy that you thought, I didn't think there'd be any problem. You know, new coach, I'm still in. I'm good to go. But we didn't really hear much from him.
No.
And it'll be interesting what that meeting, it'll be interesting to see how that went last night.
And DeMonte, too, going forward, that he has had, I don't want to say trepidation. It's hard to read too much into one's tweets. But certainly you don't feel great about it until they're on campus. That goes for any recruit. But, you know, I find it remarkable that it is less than a week ago that Brad Underwood was hired.
Yes.
It feels like 3 weeks, at least everything that they packed into it. And it's funny that as recently as, I don't know, Tuesday evening, there was this apprehension among Illinois fans of, you know, how is this going to work out? Who's our staff? Who's going to stay?
The word is angst.
Yeah.
There is so much angst.
Is there?
And I sit there and I go, listen, you have an upgraded head coach, we believe.
Yes.
Most of the industry believes you got a huge upgrade as your head coach. You kept Jamal Walker, who likely will help you keep a top 12, top 15 class. And you might even add to it.
Right.
Yet there is this angst, Carp. I don't know if you feel it, but on our message boards about the future and what's going to happen next and the third assistant and, you know, about every little thing in recruiting, whether it's somebody changes their crystal ball on Jeremy, like every little like rumor, you know, people are just so angsty, and I'm wondering why.
I don't know, because I will admit that the Boise State game was Monday night.
Yeah.
And I was more into my phone and updates that were kind of coming through the wire than I was the game. So that even myself, one that thought this program would be able to sustain losing out on a Jeremiah Tillman if something went sour, or if Jamal Walker leaves, yes, things will be fine. But even with that, I think there was this anxiety that I wanted things to just get wrapped up. Why aren't they getting wrapped up? Why is it taking so long? It only took 5 days, which is still a pretty remarkable amount of time considering they were in the NIT. So I think it's just natural, though, because the only reason that we weren't talking certifiably John Gross is gone as early as November,
no doubt,
was because there was a recruiting class involved. And what I think excites people as well is the notion that you can build upon that with a guy like Mark Smith. And then the sort of bonus things like, well, maybe Jeffrey Carroll, if he ends up graduating Oklahoma State. So I think it is a fun angst if such a thing exists. And once you get good news down the pike, people will chill out. But for whatever reason, I think people are expecting a lot of good news all in a row.
And if it doesn't happen right now.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I think people forget these people are normal, real life people with lives. They actually live lives.
It's not a video game simulation.
No, they actually like have families, have schedules. They go to school.
I was going to say they go to school every day.
Right? Brad Underwood had to do all this media tour.
Yes.
He has to get his life set up. And to set up his schedule with all these recruit schedules, like it doesn't happen in one night.
Well, and let me just tell everybody, I'm not in the room, but I can promise you that Josh Whitman and Brad Underwood made it clear to these recruits we will be there eventually, and I mean quick. I mean, Brad Underwood, one of his first jobs probably was after signing a contract to call every one of these kids, and he's saying, "Hey, I am going to be there. I have this one job I have to do, and that's go around and introduce myself to every Illini fan I can, and then you are my top priority after that."
And here's the thing is with Josh Whitman and Jamal Walker, you weren't going to do anything until the NIT was over.
Correct.
Because, one, they wanted Jamal to focus on that, though, of course, he's focused on his future as well. But they wanted to make sure he gave everything he could to those players.
Absolutely.
And then to give him and agree to the extension and, have that kind of leak out while you have Dustin Ford and Paris Parham coaching that team. That makes an awkward situation even more
Once
awkward.
again, humans, right? Once again, people.
So, I mean, it was we kind of had a good idea Jamal Walker was going to stay on, but it took some days because they were still playing.
Sure.
This is the weirdest situation. You got a team still playing after you fired a coach, and you got a coach watching on who doesn't know what to do. Like, where do I put my hands? Like, what do I do with my hands while I'm watching? Like, it's a weird situation this past week, but it's okay. It's going to be okay.
I don't feel that. Like with what you're seeing and hearing and reading, I don't
feel
that.
it, don't you?
It just kind of hit me why. I think it is far bigger than this, week, 2 weeks in a vacuum. This is a fan base that, and I'll even speak for myself as this season was going on.
Because I can tell you're a little angsty about some of this
a little
stuff.
bit. I mean, I certainly want resolution, but I'm a naturally anxious, get things done.
Yes.
Kind of, I would love to find out Sunday evening that Mark Smith said, I'm coming to Illinois.
Yeah.
And then I'd be ecstatic, and then on I go with my life.
Boom.
But I think as an Illinois fan, there have been enough instances, and I had this myself during the basketball season, where when they made that little bit of a run, and after they beat Michigan State, I think, well, he's back. For better or worse, he's back.
Right.
Now, what was telling me that? More than anything, I was thinking back to Zook being retained after 2009, or maybe Ron Turner coming back after a one-win season. You have this thing built into you as an Illini fan with an institutional knowledge of what's happened before that you keep waiting for any shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And what's remarkable,
you're protecting
you're
protecting yourself. Like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I might as well say it to my head or say it out loud
Just
on
get
Twitter.
it out of the way now.
Just because
Right.
I know it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, oh, yay.
Hey, sweet.
But in the Whitman era, the other shoe hasn't dropped yet.
No.
And we keep waiting for it.
It's,
but then
it's a young era.
It's a young era, but you see how the ease with which he maneuvered around all of this in the last 2-3 weeks. And it's like, even how this week shook out, that the NIT ends, and what do you know? The next day we find out that Jamal Walker is staying. That quickly, that precise.
Absolutely.
There's no messing around. So that's why maybe I'm just going to stop waiting for the other shoe to drop and start thinking, yeah, we'll get Mark Smith. Yeah, if Jeffrey Carroll ends up playing a fifth year, he'll be here. Like, just start going down the list and thinking big, because after all, that's what Coach Underwood, I think, said Monday.
I want to talk about a story, Jeremy, you wrote. But, I think what you just alluded to, Carp, is that there is a leader now in place. And one of the reasons we're gun shy is because the last leader was not one. And Mike Thomas basically led Illinois down an absolute hole that we're climbing out of right now as a fan base and as a program in terms of athletics with regards to not only men's basketball and men's football, but also women's basketball. But there's a plan in place. Like, for instance, the NIT ends, Jamal Walker's retained, and immediately now you're visiting these recruits down here.
Right.
I mean, now, the one thing Josh Whitman could not plan was losing to Central Florida. That's the only thing he couldn't plan in this entire thing. Mm-hmm. Other than that, everything, I bet, was set in stone of this is how we're going to do this. As soon as Jamal Walker is done with the season, as soon as this season ends, we are going to sit down with him and we're going to get this done. And then you guys immediately are going to go down and see these recruits. Boom, boom, boom. I really think this is a layered plan that Josh Whitman had. And I liked the article you wrote today on IlliniInquirer.com about Josh Whitman finally taking a day off tomorrow.
Yes.
About the fact that tomorrow being Saturday, leave him alone. Do not go to his house.
No.
He's got a little daughter he's going to be cradling all day. And you know what he's going to do tomorrow? He's going to lay her on his stomach, on his chest, and he's going to take a nap.
Yeah.
And like every dad should
My
do.
baby doesn't do that.
Not anymore.
No, he's got to move.
Oh, he's always
got to be moving.
You got to really get him tired and then just bear hug him until they just finally fall asleep.
But Josh Whitman, he said today,
he's going to take a break.
The last 2 or 3 weeks have been the most, trying. I don't want to say trying, but most difficult, most challenging of his professional life so far.
It's worked out, right? But the stress going into that.
Well, just think of the way he operated. The questions about Josh Whitman were the D3 to D1 league.
Yes.
Just like we're going to have about Nancy Faye with women's basketball. How would he be able to handle that? Well, he impressed everybody at his press conference. 2 weeks later, first day on the job, fires Bill Cuban.
Right.
2 days later, hires Lovie Smith. And then he reshapes the basketball programs here within 2 weeks.
Right.
Right? He gets two hires that people across the basketball industry think are really good hires.
Absolutely.
He supplies them with, most importantly, the resources, whether it's staff and now the facilities, all of these things. He's putting resources behind it. He's answering all the questions, and he's now done his work. He's done his work with the 3 top programs. Now there's things he's going to do.
Oh, sure.
Whether it's fundraise for more facilities, upgrades, all that. But now it's up to the coaches.
Yes.
Josh Whitman has done his job. Now we'll find out if he got the right people for football, men's, and women's basketball.
And let's don't forget, he's a boss. And I guarantee you the stress level that came with having to fire a good friend in John Gross and a friend in Matt Bolon is not easy. And I know that's his job, and it doesn't matter how friendly you are with a worker. If you have to fire someone or remove someone, Carp, that is something that weighs on you forever. And that decision about John Gross especially, I'm sure weighed on Josh Whitman heavily. And then he had to lower the boom. He had to go in and sit down with him and say, we're moving in a new direction.
When he said he's a boss, I was thinking, oh, yeah, he's definitely a boss.
Yeah.
But you actually meant literally he is a boss.
He's
I thought
literally
a more
the
figurative
boss.
sense. But I had not even considered that, now all 3 are in place. And he's probably going to go into the office on Monday for a rather normal day that a Big Ten AD would have, whatever that is.
Looking for stuff to do, right?
But what's really cool about that, too, is that if he is able to operate in the way that he conducted all 3 of these searches in such a timely and efficient manner, think about all the other things he's going to be able to check off his list now that he doesn't need to focus on that.
Right.
Now that he has coaches in place and they can do their jobs and he doesn't have to spend an entire basketball season thinking, well, what am I going to do when this one's over?
Tup goes, when's the next time you're going to have to pull out that suit?
Right.
Right? Because, he shouldn't have to have a press conference like this for another long time.
Not for a long time.
You would hope.
Now, in my mind, when I was reading that article today that you wrote, in my mind, I was sitting there going through the sports at Illinois.
Yeah.
And even don't consider this volleyball, which was one of those untouchable programs. And really the only reason you lost Hambly is because of a Bill Self situation where Stanford came calling. So it's one of those situations where he had to, and let's don't forget how important that hire is.
Yeah.
That is a big sport in terms of winning percentage at Illinois and fans as well. So throw that in with the other 3.
In 1 year.
In 1 year.
Think of the last 3 months or 2 months.
Yeah.
And now he can sit down and kind of look at the
3
others.
of the 4 biggest sports here.
Yes.
I know golf's more successful.
Right. No, I would agree.
But volleyball, when you talk about, volleyball and wrestling are probably in that 4 or 5 range, right?
And you look
in
at
baseball.
it, Hef, he's in good shape. He is doing great with that. Small, always on my hot seat.
Yeah.
But obviously in pretty good shape.
Well, and the 2 guys you think could get hired away probably aren't going to get hired away.
That's the thing.
It's Mike Small and Justin Spring.
That's the thing.
And unless it's Team USA, I don't see Justin Spring going anywhere.
Nope,
Oklahoma, are they going to pull him away?
No.
I would doubt it.
I doubt it too. So as he looks across the landscape now, for him at least, it's almost like, all right, I've had one hell of a year. And now I'm going to sit back.
Well, now you can get nitty-gritty.
But now he's going to get nitty-gritty with everything. That is correct.
Football facilities probably going to be the number one thing.
And even down the road, baseball facilities, looking at what else he can do to help volleyball and other things.
I was just thinking about how growing up.
Home golf match.
Is that number 1 on your list?
That is, I think now it is.
We should make a list next hour. Think about this.
What he needs to do now.
Like the top 5 things that you would tell Josh Whitman this is on your priority list.
I like that
I can
idea.
think about that.
I like it.
But my entire life, or I should say when I was younger especially, and I started watching Illinois basketball at the tail end of the Lou Henson era. So they were making tournaments, but they were not what they were from, let's say, 83 till 89.
Right, that's
or
correct.
1990 for that matter. So that's an 8-year stretch of really good basketball. And then football was, it was Lou Tepper. It was fading into irrelevance.
You just missed a great football.
Exactly. So I remember hearing about the 80s belonged to the Illini and trying to imagine what that sort of collective excitement would feel like in this town. And we've had punctuated moments of a really good season here or a really good season there, or in the case of basketball, a really good 7-8 year run, but it has not been prolonged. And now you feel like, just going back to the Lovie Smith hire and the moves he had to make to get money lined up to get a hire like that, or even for the Underwood thing, donors are back on board.
Yes,
the average fan is back on board. And now it just comes down to getting the wins, but at least you feel as if the two main sports especially are, well, football, we'll see. It'll take time.
Yeah.
But at least you feel like the floor isn't that low with that, and with basketball, there may be immediate improvement. And when that happens, as we saw the Michigan State game at March 1st, I guess it would have been, people are there. They will be there.
No doubt.
They'll come back immediately.
No doubt.
The next 5 years, we'll find out how good of a hirer he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because we might say these are wins just on face value.
Right.
It's true.
We'll really find out how good of a hirer he is. And I want to ask you guys, how does this feel different than Mike Thomas? Because Mike Thomas did the exact same.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It does not feel any different with the women's basketball, because we all thought that Matt Bolant was a home run hire. And I honestly thought we'd be standing here 5 years later talking about a women's basketball program that is now competing for Big Ten championships and at least maybe Sweet 16s. I honestly had that
right.
thought.
In the start of the John Gross era, the year in, if Underwood makes an NCAA tournament, it could be similar. Lovie Smith, I get it. There's a difference there, but he was 3-9 his first year compared to 2-10.
But if you just go back to day one with those two, I think the difference for me, and I recall even saying, and I got called out
I'm just throwing it out there.
But I recall even saying, I don't know anything about John Gross.
Yeah.
Now, Brad Underwood, I know a little bit more about, and you can immediately look at the last 4 years and understand, all right, he's had a lot of success.
It's a more impressive 4-year head coaching resume.
Without a doubt. And then Lovie Smith, sure, I think 90%
there's a
of
big difference. I was just throwing out these little facts, but there's a big difference of Lovie Smith standing up there and Tim Beckman.
Just imagine if there was Tim Beckman cam at the UCF game. There would be no Tim Beckman cam because ESPN wouldn't have cared about it. I think the big difference is
so true.
Mike Thomas's first hire would have been Beckman, right?
Yes.
The first and biggest hire. Same with, Whitman having to go football first and foremost. But that Lon and I still remember that day very well. And meeting up with my family later that night and trying to wrap my head around it. And they were like, so what do you think? I'm like,
right.
He's probably better than Zook.
His Toledo team took Ohio State to the final quarter.
I think that the Beckman hire honestly took confidence away from this fan base very quickly. Mike Thomas, he never regained that. And then the search for John Gross is a 3-week period. I remember thinking, does he know what he's doing?
Yeah. And then Whitman on the flip side, the hire of Lovie Smith immediately gave him instant
credibility. He's big time.
Yes.
You got a big time AD.
Without a doubt.
And I said it on Monday that you have he schooled a 12-year AD in Mike Holder.
Amazing.
And Oklahoma State fans got to be sitting there going, what today? They just hired Mike Boynton as their head coach.
Really?
Not even Doug Gottlieb. At least that would have been a win press conference.
Yeah.
Mike Boynton, who was an assistant, the second or third assistant under Brad Underwood.
He traveled with Underwood from Stephen F. Austin to Oklahoma State.
Are you serious?
He was the only holdover.
Really young guy. This is cheap.
Wow.
This is a cheap move.
Is Boone, is he struggling right now financially?
Maybe he's not a basketball fan. I don't know.
Wow. Mike Boynton.
Illinois wasn't even going to make him an assistant coach here. They might make him a support staff.
And he's the head coach
he's
now at Oklahoma State.
He's the head coach at Oklahoma State.
And anybody that has a Y before an N, it's so hard to say that. Boynton. I can't stand that kind of stuff. Boynton. Well, that is interesting. Josh Whitman, man, you're the man. Take it. Maybe Joshua.
Mike Holder, what are you doing?
It feels nice to be on the other side of this, though.
Yes.
And there was an article that was kind of making the rounds on Twitter from an Oklahoma State fan, and I empathize with their situation. But you know what, Illinois, in one way or the other, we've been burned here and there. I'm not going to say we don't deserve some of the things that we've gotten, but this is a very nice position to be in for the first time.
It is very nice. All right, listen, we're going to visit with Derek Piper at 4:05. A big weekend recruiting-wise. I know most of these guys are already signed with you and signed with Illinois, but there's a recommitment going on right now with Brad Underwood and Jamal Walker. So we'll visit with Derek Piper about that and also Mark Smith.
Yeah, Derek's been all over it. We should call him Derek Scoops Piper at IlliniInquirer.com. We'll also talk with Deion Thomas, Illini Radio Network, Big Ten Network as well at 5:15. And we have the Friday 5 at 5 showdown at 5:40. We'll give Whitman a list.
Yep.
We'll give you Saturday off. Yep. But Monday, you're back in that office.
Right, we want you back.
And we got stuff for you.
You better have a tie on, too. You better have a tie on.
We can't let him go tieless for like a week.
Okay, a week. It'll be like his spring break.
You know, when he hired Underwood.
In fact, he can go golf. He can go slacks golf shirt for a week.
The morning he hired Underwood, he had jeans and a tucked-in shirt.
I love it.
And they were kind of like acid wash jeans.
Yeah.
They were they were like Beverly Hills 90210 Jason Priestley jeans.
Listen, he's 38 like me.
I was going to say, he had dad jeans.
He totally did.
He looked dad-like.
You get to this age and you can't help it. You just can't help it. It's like I just want something that's comfortable.
If he had dark jeans, it would have looked okay. But it was like a light blue shirt tucked into light blue denim.
Can you imagine if Underwood and he and his wife, like Whitman, walks in the house and they're like, hey, hold on 1 second. We're going to go get you guys some coffee. We'll be right back. They walk into the kitchen like, you see what he's wearing? I'm not going to coach for that guy.
Can't even put slacks on.
This is unbelievable. He doesn't want me.
Maybe changing the jeans just on the flight or something like that.
That's probably what he did. I bet he had his business casual on for the meeting.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. We got, how many teams in the Elite Eight? 4 teams in the Elite Eight last night.
Yep.
We'll have 4 more after tonight. We'll talk about that as well. And you'll hear from Nancy Fay, the new Illini women's basketball coach.
And Jeremy will spend 15 minutes breaking down who the third assistant will be for the Fighting Illini basketball team.
It's so big.
It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the 4-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Mike Kessel. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by our office at 1701 Broadmoor Drive, Suite 110. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda.
Let's go!
Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda.
Here we go!
Yes, I love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 3:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com and you'll be entered to win a free 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. New Illini women's basketball coach Nancy Fay was introduced in a press conference today at the University of Illinois. Fay is a 5-time national title winner at Wash U, made 10 Final Fours, and won 737 games in her 31 years with the Bears. Here's Coach Fay at the introductory press conference.
We have had a lot of success at Wash U, and I'm very, very proud of that. I'm a challenge-oriented person. I like challenges. I like having an opportunity to make an impact. Obviously, I think if you don't know what your leadership and where they're heading, I think that's a key. I know Josh, and I know his leadership, and I know the excitement. That's easy to follow.
The NCAA Sweet 16 is halfway through, and 2 Big Ten teams are already out of the running. Kansas absolutely crushed Purdue 98-66. Caleb Swanigan led the Boilers with 18 points, and Kansas was led by Frank Mason with 26. The other Big Ten team that fell was the Wolverines, who lost to Oregon 69-68. Derek Walton scored 20 points for the losing Michigan team, and Tyler Dorsey led the Ducks with 20. The final Big Ten team standing is Wisconsin. They play Florida tonight on TBS around 8:59 p.m. Other Thursday results were number 1 seed Gonzaga squeaking out a 61-58 win over Bob Huggins' West Virginia Mountaineers, and number 11 Xavier putting together a comeback 73-71 victory over number 2 seed Arizona. Games that don't include Big Ten teams tonight are Butler versus North Carolina and Baylor taking on South Carolina. Oklahoma State has elevated assistant Mike Boynton to their head coaching spot. Boynton spent the last 4 seasons with Brad Underwood, with Stephen F. Austin and Oklahoma State. And that, my friends, is the Sports Center update.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter, Nancy Fay. You heard the presser there. We're going to hear some more from her as we roll along. You can always weigh in at 217-359-2255.
So Evan Daniels just tweeted out that a transfer out of Bryant University has already heard from Illinois. Nizre Zazua.
Oh, I don't want him.
A sophomore guard, 6'2", 190, out of Brockton, Massachusetts. Averaged 20 points a game last year for Bryant University. Shot 40% from the field, 37% from 3, 4 rebounds per game.
Aaron Cosby all over again.
Right.
So there's one. Missouri, Arizona State, NC State, Maryland, and Boston College also have interest. He'd have to sit out a year to play too.
Which ones worked? Sam McLaurin?
Ray Rice.
Take the grad transfers out. If we're going multi-year.
Yeah, multi-year, nobody.
Rayvonte Rice was the only one. And he worked great.
He worked great. Okay.
So the question becomes, if in 2018 you don't feel like there's a 2-guard that's worth it, then
Tim Finke's worth it.
Okay.
I agree. I totally agree.
And I think he fits a lot better in this scheme than he would have with John Gross.
I wonder how guys like Io and Tim now look at this, and I wonder if it's sparked their interest a little more.
I'm sure it helps gain some, there's a little buzz around Illinois a little bit more now, but there's no relationship.
Right, exactly.
So, like, people are like, does Tim Finke all of a sudden think, he's going to go to... This needs time.
Sure it does.
There needs a lot of time.
But they're smart enough to understand style of play.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
And if you're Io DeSumo, you just saw what happened with Juwan Evans.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd like that. Let's head to the Jupiters, the Crossing phone line. Stu's been holding. Stu, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, guys. It's a terrific day. I wanted to comment on the early Mike Thomas period, but before I did that, I wanted to send out my regards to the fanboy. There's at least one other person, judging from his Twitter, that was not in any way, shape, or form satisfied with that. You can't even call it an effort. Wednesday night in Orlando. I don't care what tournament, what game. If you've got the uniform on, that just doesn't cut it. But moving on from that, I think you got your first inkling on Thomas when none of his coaches wanted to come with him.
Yep.
Good call.
Butch Jones. I mean, you're talking the American Athletic Conference, and you don't want to. If you're Butch Jones, you don't want to step up to the Big Ten. If you're Mick Cronin, you don't want to step up to the Big Ten. To my mind, that was where the first red flags came out Have a good show. Say hi to Nancy. You guys have a good weekend. Bye.
All right, Stu, we appreciate that. And hey, on the end of that, Nancy, with regards, a lot of times when they're hired, we do have them come in studio, but we're going to talk to her Monday. It sounds
Monday
like.
at 4:05.
Okay.
She's down in St. Louis now doing the media tour. So.
Great, good for her. So Nancy will hopefully. I can't wait to meet her. Can't wait to visit with her on Monday and find out more about Nancy.
I think Stu was at the top of that call was referring to a couple of tweets watching the game Wednesday night, and it was one of those things where you don't really have an emotional investment in a game like that,
right?
But it's more just like the disappointed parent, like, oh come on, guys, like
everyone except Malcolm.
And that was it. And that was really the saving grace of that game, I think, was that at least reminded people that this kid still had a great 4-year career. There's no hot takes that anyone could have or should have in regards to Malcolm not being one of the greats to put on that uniform. It's just a terrible bit of timing. But yeah, when it got 18, 19 points, you're thinking, guys, we knew you were heading into a really dangerous environment.
Let it rain. It sounded like they were.
Rain dance.
But it was just that first half performance, or the first two segments, I'm sorry, was really, really pathetic.
That last segment, though.
The last segment.
Malcolm Hill, man.
We won the fourth segment like we won the last 36 minutes at Indiana.
That's right.
You know, this whole year, what I should have done, Carp, to you is I should have made you a left field guy. Because when I go watch my sons play baseball, I'm a left field guy. Mm-hmm. I park my truck in left field, and I can say any comment I want, and it goes about 10 feet and drops on dead ears. So maybe that's good. Maybe like Twitter, maybe people on Twitter need to be left field people. Just go out there, let it drop for a minute, and then tweet something out. And because normally by the time, something happens and I've yelled what I need to yell, which is not encouraging to any one of my boys.
Right.
Then by the time the game's over, I'm like, you did a great job there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was wonderful.
That was basically my Wednesday timeline, because at the end of it, and I knew it didn't mean a whole lot. And frankly, talking about just moving on and getting started with this new thing, that's the one big positive of losing that game, is that you were able to establish Jamal Walker's back, and now you have a really big recruiting weekend.
This has been a big week.
A little bit.
It's been a big week.
A little bit. And what? Just initial reaction, guys, of, I don't know a big breakdown of Nizre Zazua here, but this shows that there's going to be some roster turnover. Right. And we can point to the candidates we think are likely, and that'd be Aaron Jordan and DJ Williams, guys who didn't have a role under the guy who recruited them.
Sure.
Right. So how are they going to have a role with a new guy? I think he'll want his own guys here. We've talked about the 5 guys we think can definitely make an impact that John Gross left behind that'll give him a better start than John Gross had with the roster Bruce Weber gave behind. And that's Michael Finke, Laurent Black, Jalen Comelance, Kipper Nichols, Tejan Lucas.
Yes.
Those guys can be big players for him, key contributors for him going forward, but he's got to find the rest of that roster. And I know John Gross was burned by the transfer thing. I don't mind 1 or 2. You just can't wholesale it.
No.
You can't put so much into these transfers and feel like I got to put all this into these transfers, otherwise I'm not going to make the tournament the first year or 2. You got a 6-year contract.
Yes.
Right? Put it into program shaping, culture shaping players. That's what you can learn from John Gross.
Give me a roster outlook, and you don't have to go by names here. You basically have the 5 guys left plus Jordan and Williams making 7. And then right now you've got 4 coming in, freshmen if they all come in, plus hopefully Mark Smith, which would put you at 12.
Yeah.
So if you're going to add a transfer, what are there, 13 on the squad? Yep. So you could add a transfer like Carroll.
Done there,
thank you. Listen,
you can count.
That is harder than you think for me
John
to do
Gross
that.
could count, right?
Exactly.
He could count. We give him that credit. But so if you add Carroll, nobody has to leave. But if you add, or just any transfer, you can add 1. If you add 2, we know something's going on, right? With
somebody's going to leave.
Sure. I mean, that's usually what happens.
Coaching change, somebody's going to leave.
That's correct.
So, yeah, we'll see some turnover, but it'll make for an interesting offseason ahead the next couple months, whether it comes to recruiting or these transfers.
What do you think, how do you think this is going to go, just in your mind? I know we're going to ask Derek Piper this. And our next segment, we're going to hear from New Illini head coach, women's basketball coach Nancy Fay. What do you think this weekend is all about with Brad Underwood? How hard of a sell is this for him, and what does he have to convey to these kids?
We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but It's Jeremiah Tillman. It's, hey, we got your guy Jamal Walker. The relationship's there. It's the same university. Now we want to use you better.
Yes.
I feel like I'm the guy who can get the most out of you. I know you don't know me a lot, but look at my system. Look what I've done with players, whether it's Jeffrey Carroll. Now, he's got to sell a post player with Tillman. He's never had that.
Right. That's interesting.
I think Jamal Walker will solidify this deal. So I'm not worried too much about Jeremiah Tillman going elsewhere. But now you got to show, how am I going to use you? With Mark Smith, how are you going to use him? And I think that's a big sell for Underwood. I think Mark Smith has a great familiarity with Illinois, the campus, the school. I think there's a draw to be here in state. But how am I going to be used?
Got it.
If he had Tony Bennett coming in here, I don't know if you have a great chance at Mark Smith.
Fair enough.
He wants to play an up-tempo, get the ball up and down. I think he'd fit really well. So it's about selling your system and selling who you are as a coach.
I like it. I like this. And we'll
so it's
find
a big
out
weekend.
a lot more.
It's a big weekend. Are you going to hear on Sunday, Mark Smith's committed? Are you going to hear tonight that Jeremiah Tillman's definitely? I don't know.
I mean,
you don't really have to hear that. Mark Smith's going to take his time, look at his options. He's going to Kansas State and Ohio State this weekend.
Okay.
Illinois is going to visit on Sunday, and it's all process. Yep. It's going to take some time here. He doesn't need to rush into a decision.
Fair enough.
And Jeremiah Tillman, it seems like, if you have Walker, you're likely going to keep him.
Before you go, Carp, when is that second signing period?
April 12th is the first day of that period, 12th. But then it goes for a month.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Mark Smith, I feel like, I don't want to overstate it, but right now you have a very good class that gives you pieces to work with off the bat. Mark Smith, I think, solidifies it as a potential program-changing class. And I don't know if Mark Smith is the kind of guy that's good enough to be an early out, 3 years and gone or something like that. But you would have at that point, and we'll see what Tillman does, a guy like a Trent Frazier and Mark Smith that look to be really good four-year players that are also immediate impacts that also fit perfectly in this system.
Yeah.
So it's just something where if you get...
And we're watching basketball last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
While we were talking about Purdue and Kansas, you thought Purdue would make that game ugly, and they did for a little bit.
They did for a while.
What wins in college basketball?
Absolutely.
It's guard play.
guards.
Yeah.
It's guard play. I mean,
every time Illinois won, they've had guards.
Yeah, I mean, it's guard play. So as much as people, I understand you haven't had a big like Tillman, and you need bigs like that to really make a run at a Big Ten title, things like that. But it's about guard play, and if you are loaded on the guards like that, that's a fun style of basketball, and that's what wins at this level. Kansas doesn't have many big men.
No, they don't.
But they have the best guards in the country.
Yep, and they can do whatever they want. It's amazing. Back to the Jupiters, the Crossing phone line. Tony joins us in Danville. Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys, good. Hey, question for you. You see all these mid-major schools going out and getting big time schools to play because
You know what, Tony? I apologize, buddy, but you're breaking up there. So if you can do me a favor, Tony, if you can call back and talk to Austin and relay that question, and we'll try to answer what it was. But you were breaking up, so we couldn't understand you.
What'd you guys think of last night's games?
I did not stay up for the final.
You know what?
I regret.
I stayed up till half.
That's what I did. I went to bed at
my
half.
best, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to DVR this. And what I didn't want to do was wake up and immediately check Twitter, and I did.
It was a classic.
And I saw that Xavier won. I still have it recorded. So tonight, I'm going to watch that.
Man, Sean Miller. He gets to the Sweet 16 like every freaking year, and then he can't get to the Final Four.
It's funny, watching that first half, though, I was kind of sitting there thinking, do they have that go-to guy?
Yeah, I agree with that. It seems like their guys are there for 2 years and leave.
Yes.
And that becomes an issue unless you have the best in the country.
And they're good enough to get you to the Sweet 16.
He always feels like Kentucky gets the best and then Miller gets the next.
Right.
Like Kentucky and Duke get the best and then Miller kind of gets the next.
It's interesting.
And it's just that second tier of great, like 1 and 2 are done guys, and they're just not able to get over that hump. But Kansas looks like the best team in the country.
Wow, they look scary.
Is this Bill? I mean, it's easy to go back and say this, but this looks like Bill Self's second best chance to win a title.
Yes, I agree. And he's got one, right? I think this could be number 2. That could be a clash, though, in the Final Four with UCLA if they make it.
Michigan's team of destiny just falls short.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a 3-point lead with 2 minutes left.
And you can't argue with the shot they got. Walton, to win it.
Maybe get closer to the hoop. Maybe
1 point loss, yeah.
But, man, the way they've been stroking threes, I'd almost rather him shoot a three.
Oregon's got two special players.
They do.
Dylan Brooks and Tyler Dorsey are really, really good. And the Gonzaga West Virginia was the longest, ugliest game, but there was some drama. If you love not getting a shot off at the end of the game, that was the game for you.
That's where Carter needs to say, I know I'm the guy. I know I'm supposed to take this shot, but maybe right now when three guys are on me, I'm going to find somebody else to shoot the shot.
Doesn't this feel like whoever comes out of the Kansas-North Carolina, the potential Kansas-North Carolina semifinal, that's your champion?
Yeah.
Because someone had tweeted out this morning, I wish I remembered who, that on one side of the bracket, all the names that you could have in the championship game
are there.
So what would that be? That'd
UCLA, Carolina.
South Carolina, Baylor, Wisconsin, Florida, and there were two other names in there, I think, two that won last night. And you're thinking, one of those teams is going to be in the title game.
I thought you were going the other way. I thought you were talking about how dominant the other.
And I think that's actually apt for this year of college basketball, which, I think fairly got a lot of criticism for just kind of being, what is this?
Agree.
Isn't the Big Ten kind of showing us they are who we thought they were?
Yes.
And that they're a bunch of good teams, a bunch of solid teams, 3 Sweet 16 teams. That's not crazy to think of before this NCAA tournament.
It's not.
There's not one that's going to win a title.
No, not at all. But
right?
there is one.
Well, watch Wisconsin go ahead and do it.
There is one still standing.
I know.
That's who it is.
I can see him going to the Final Four with what's there.
But they're not going to win a title. No, I'm with you there.
No, I don't see him winning the title.
See, why?
Isn't it funny, though?
This is why I can't do Wisconsin anymore. Why can't Illinois be an 8 seed one year and go on a magical run? Why do we always have to be a 1 seed or bust?
Well, I know.
Like, we have to pick these once every 15 seasons, and if we don't make it that year, we aren't making it for another 15-year cycle.
I think that's funny. Wisconsin's an 8, and I know they struggled there.
They're
at the
more
end
like
of
a
the Big Ten
5
season, but
yeah,
man, that's a good
6
team. That's a good veteran team.
Yeah, they're definitely a top 25 team in the country.
Yes.
Coming up next, you'll hear from New Illini women's basketball coach Nancy Fay talking a little bit about the transition she'll have from D3 to Power 5 Big Ten school.
Look forward to it. It is the Tay and J Show.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Get ready for the 2017 season. Cardinals single game tickets are on sale now and start at just $5. The 2017 season is filled with great matchups, including the Red Sox, Royals, Giants, Cubs, and more. And the promotion schedule is packed with 6 jersey giveaways, 3 ring dates, bobbleheads, and so much more. There is something for everyone in the 2017 Cardinals season. And the fun starts at just $5. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
This Mettler tip is brought to you by Mettler Center Physical Therapy.
Physical therapy is an excellent option for addressing low back pain. You don't have to resort to taking medication or having surgery. Trying out non-invasive options such as physical therapy first could be beneficial in not only reducing the pain but in identifying the cause. Poor posture, malalignment of the pelvis, or tight musculature can be at fault. Working with a physical therapist, you can correct these issues and develop a management plan specific to you.
For more information, visit online at MettlerCenter.com.
Hey, home sellers, it's Stephanie Pratt, Coldwell Banker Honeck, your realtor that rocks the real estate market. I am so ready to list your home in 2017. I have the ability to offer you so much with the ultimate listing package. 3D virtual tours, floor plans, professional photos, flyers, and more. We also top position you on various real estate websites. So let's meet so I can view your home, discuss the process, the marketing, and the pricing to make sure that we get the best and highest price when we go live to get it sold. Contact me today. Stephanie Pratt, Coldwell Banker Honeck, your realtor that rocks the real estate market.
Save the date for Cunningham Children's Home Festival of Quilts. Friday, April 7th and Saturday, April 8th from 9 to 5 with sponsors like Arby's, Carl, Fertilizer Dealer Supply, and Simtech. Get your business involved now. For details, visit CunninghamHome.org.
Bowl for Kids' Sake is easy as you support the mentoring organization Big Brothers and Big Sisters on March 31st or April 7th from 6 to 8 or 8:30 to 10:30. Sunday, April 9th from 1 to 3 at Old Orchard Lanes in Savoy. BBBSCIL.org for details.
Hey, Frankie, what you got there? It's an Italian hero from Subway.
A lot of meat on that sandwich.
Well, yeah, Mrs. G. It's got mortadella, spicy capicola.
Capicola? Nice.
Genoa salami, oil and vinegar.
Is that Mediterranean oregano I smell?
Yeah, Mr. Antonelli.
What did I tell you? That thing is loaded.
That's a nice sandwich. You did good, Frankie. Real good.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks.
everybody. Subway has the authentic taste everyone loves. Introducing the Italian Hero. It's our better Italian flavor for a better Subway. Limited time only.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Irony. There's some irony here. See if this is irony, because in 6 years I always get that one wrong.
Do you have the Alanis Morissette version of irony?
No, not that one. So today,
it's just coincidence.
Today I started thinking, you know what I haven't done in a while? I have not been to visit my brother in Lincoln Park. This is Lincoln Park.
I don't think that's...
Is that irony?
Carp, is that irony?
I think it's coincidence.
I think it's coincidence.
It's coincidence.
Yeah.
Dang it!
You and Alanis can get together and talk about it.
I need to really, really study irony.
All right, Nancy Faye is the new Illini women's basketball coach. Josh Whitman introduced her today at a press conference, and here's a little bit about her introductory press conference, welcoming herself to Illini Nation, and a few follow-up questions as well.
Speaking of Washington University, 3 years ago, we hired somebody that everybody recognizes in this room, Josh Whitman. I had no idea what can happen in 3 years. But the one thing I knew at WashU and the one thing I know here is he's a man of vision. He's a man you can get behind because he'll do things the right way and with integrity, and that was incredibly important to me. After 31 years, as you mentioned, why Illinois? And I was talking to someone last night, and I think the great question is, why not? What a great place. I met so many people last night, the courtsiders, the support, the excitement, the community. I know they'll get behind women's basketball. A chance. The group of people that I want to meet the most right now aren't here. They're in spring break and having a good time, and we've tried to talk to most of them, talking to the new recruits, because that's what makes me tick. Is the players. That's why I do this. And I think they're excited. I really want to meet them face-to-face. We're doing that Monday. It's, as Josh alluded to, it's important to me to know these kids as people first, that chose a great academic school, that want to play at the top level, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that challenge. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this family. People talk about culture, and I think the culture is all boiling down to knowing them, and I want to know their hopes and dreams and get to know them not just as a basketball player, but as people. People have often asked me style of play. I want you to tell me the first coach that you run into at this level that doesn't say fast and they want to play great D. Well, of course. But what I think it's really important is that I play to the strengths of this team, to play to the strengths of each of those kids, to find what their talents are. And that may take a few passes every once in a while, because I watched the games last night, and not everybody's doing layups. If we could give up layups all the time, this would be a great game and easy. So you have to be able to execute. And we're going to put that together, but I think you have to know the people you're working with first, and that's my intention. I also want the basketball alumni. I want our tradition. I want to know what came before, and I want to build on that and know those folks and the community. I'm so excited. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from another state. I hope you can. Well, Wisconsin's a good state, but I get it. But I'm so excited to be part of your family. I've only been welcome, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you again at a more personal level. And with that, I'd like to say, go Illini.
To go up some levels. You mentioned a little bit of why Illinois, but was it Josh a huge part of that, or was it just Big Ten Illinois?
Well, I think in your course of your life, we had won 4 national titles in a row, and I became very smart at that point after that, so I did look. You just have to have a lot of things come together in a career, and it wasn't the time. And, we have had a lot of success at Washington. I'm very, very proud of that. I'm a challenge-oriented person. I like challenges. I like having an opportunity to make an impact. Obviously, I think if you don't know what your leadership and where they're heading, I think that's a key. I know Josh, and I know his leadership, and I know the excitement. That's easy to follow. And Illinois itself, I mean, facilities, the community, the state. When I started in Illinois basketball, my first teaching job was in Johnsburg High School. And at the time, a ground rule double was in the cornfield. And I remember that community, and I had a chance to start that program. In my first season, I was 5-17. I went, welcome to Illinois high school basketball. And we were able to turn that program around. But my appreciation for the talent in the state and the tradition of women's basketball, it's not just one thing. And I love Josh, but this is a big picture. And so there's so many reasons, professionally, personally, but it's kind of interesting starting your coaching career in high school and then ending up here. What a dream. Yes.
Hi, Nancy. Mark Tupper from Decatur Herald and Review. Looking at your roster and talking to your buddy Lori Kearns in Decatur, your roster at WashU doesn't look like a typical D3 roster to me. And Lori indicated the same thing. It appears that you've recruited more nationally than a lot of Division III programs may have. A, is that true? And B, did that help prepare you for this, perhaps? Exactly.
I think that the universities you go to usually, and it was a private institution, so what you do is you recruit to the student body. The student body reflects that at Washington University. There are students from all over the country, so you also do the same thing. We've recruited at the national level. We've recruited regionally. So you're correct. It's a different roster than you would typically see at a Division III. We've had kids from New York to California to Texas. It's just the nature of the university.
Nancy, what do you think are the biggest challenges for this week?
I think that everybody's going to say that, at Division III, one, we did recruit. Okay, the difference is it's a Division I recruiting, and I'm fully aware of that. The one thing that I'm not afraid to do is ask questions, and I'm not afraid to put really strong people around me. This is not about me. This is about making Illinois basketball the best. And so what you want to do is you put yourself around people that know what you don't know as well and be willing to learn. And I am 100% a sponge when it comes to making myself better to make this program better. But you have to empower people around you, and you have to trust. And I'm not a person that you have to earn trust from. I'm going to trust you, and we can hopefully it only gets better. So I recognize that.
That's Nancy Fay, New Atlanta women's basketball coach, to join us in studio at 4:05 on Monday.
Take this the right way. I think she came in being kind of offensive to Division III questions, and I like it. I like that.
Yeah, somebody else has told me that, but yeah, I think she understands that it is a leap. Mm-hmm. But I think she's trying to tell people that I've been in this for 31 years, and Josh Whitman told me afterwards, he said, that program at WashU it acts like a low major Division I university.
Got it.
Right? Whether it's the way they win, the way they recruit, the way they spend, it's not as big of a leap as some people might think.
And I like it. And again, take it the right way. I like the fact she's coming in saying, I can do this. I can do this job.
She's got some talent. We're just kind of going over it.
Yeah.
Alex Whitner, it's a young roster.
It is young.
But there is some talent. They need to add more to it. And, Bolon had some more talent coming in, but he hadn't shown he could have success with it. So it'll be interesting to see how she puts her thumbprint on this roster
It'll be fun going forward. I can't wait to meet her on Monday. All right. Coming up next hour, Derek Piper at 4:05. We'll do Name That Riff. And then Carp and I and Jeremy have some homework to do. We are going to come up with 5 things now that Josh Whitman must do next. Because now that he can just kind of take the summer off, essentially, with all these hires. No. We're going to keep him on his toes. So we'll do that next hour. It is the Tay and J Show.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, Frankie, what you got there? It's an Italian hero from Subway. A lot of meat on that sandwich.
Well, yeah, Mrs. G, it's got mortadella, spicy capicola.
Capicola? Nice.
Genoa salami, oil and vinegar.
Is that Mediterranean oregano I smell?
Yeah, Mr. Antonelli.
What did I tell you? That thing is loaded.
That's a nice sandwich. You did good, Frankie. Real good.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks. Everybody?
Subway has the authentic taste everyone loves. Introducing the Italian Hero. It's our better Italian flavor for a better Subway. Limited time only.
Napa know-how. A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm Chris Foster, and this is a Fox News alert. It looks like Obamacare is going to be around for a while, with Republicans unable to agree on a plan to replace it. There was supposed to be a vote in the House today. That was canceled, and the bill's been pulled off the table.
We're very close. It was a very, very tight margin.
President Trump a few minutes ago saying Obamacare will explode on its own. More from Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington.
Chris, House Speaker Paul Ryan said they were close, but Republicans just couldn't reach a consensus on legislation repealing and replacing Obamacare. He informed President Trump this afternoon that they didn't have the votes and recommended the bill be pulled.
The president gave his all in this effort. He did everything he possibly could to help people see the opportunity that we have with this bill.
President Trump in the Oval Office said we learned a lot about loyalty and that he expects Obamacare to implode, and then he would be open to working with Democrats on an even better plan. Speaker Ryan says the GOP will be proceeding with tax reform and that the nation will be living with Obamacare for the foreseeable future. Chris.
The top House Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, says about all this.
Today is a great day for our country. It's a victory. What happened on the floor is a victory for the American people.
A small victory for President Trump today. A federal judge in Virginia rules he probably does have the right to suspend travel from 6 countries, rejecting a travel ban challenge from a Muslim civil rights group. Judges in Maryland and Hawaii, though, have blocked the president's order. President Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, has volunteered to speak to the House Intelligence Committee investigating any Russian interference in the election.
If he wants to come out in public and have a public hearing, he's more than welcome to do that. If he wants to do it in a closed setting, that's also fine with me.
That's Committee Chairman Devin Nunes. On Wall Street, the Dow down 59 points today, the NASDAQ down 2, the S&P, the NASDAQ up 11, the S&P down 2. And this is the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Ready for a new tractor? At LS Tractor, we'll be the first to tell you to shop and compare. That's right, shop our competition. We're that confident that the LS Tractor combination of more standard features, better performance, competitive price, and proven commitment to customer satisfaction deliver value that's unequaled by another tractor. Period. Want more tractor for your money? Look around. You'll see there's one that gives it to you. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
In your business, you trust people who time and time again get the job done. At Indeed.com, we deliver 5 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. That's why over 3 million businesses use Indeed when they're hiring. Because getting the job done matters. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This
The former Penn State University president Graham Spanier is convicted of child endangerment for staying quiet about abuse allegations against assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky. A victory in court for some death row inmates in Virginia.
A federal appeals court has revived a lawsuit filed from Virginia's death row in 2014. Prisoners claimed their living conditions while they wait to die were dehumanizing. Being forced to spend 23 hours a day alone was cruel and unusual punishment. So was denying family visits and allowing only 5 hours a week of outdoor recreation in cages no bigger than their cells. After the suit, prison officials expanded those exercise options, allowed more visits with contact, and let the condemned men congregate in small groups. Those changes prompted a federal judge to dismiss the lawsuit, but the appeals court overturned that Friday, saying there's no guarantee the prior restrictions won't be reimposed. Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The older brother of a man accused of killing 4 people in Wisconsin says he's been acting crazy since separating from his wife a few years ago. The victims were 2 of her co-workers, her divorce lawyer, and a detective.
45-year-old Nenmi Vang. Police say shot 2 people at a bank near Wausau in northern Wisconsin Wednesday in a domestic dispute before another shooting at a local law firm, followed by the shooting death of Everest Metro Police Detective 40-year-old Jason Weiland.
Jason was a phenomenal officer, and he was part of our family, so it's difficult.
The other victims include 67-year-old Diane Look, 62-year-old Karen Barkley, and 43-year-old Sarah Quirt San, the divorce attorney for Vang's wife, who was not hurt. He was later taken into custody and now facing charges.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. And again, a Republican health care bill to replace Obamacare is dead, pulled before today's vote, with not enough support from Republicans and none from Democrats. In New York, I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. For all your heating and air conditioning needs, give Chief Bauer service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight getting all the way down to a balmy 57 degrees. Tomorrow 66 the high with a 50% chance of thunderstorms throughout the day, low of 54. And Sunday will be your coldest day for the next, a couple weeks probably. 59 is the high Sunday with a low of 46.
Couple weeks, I hope, for the next.
Forever. Let's hope, right?
Right.
We got mid-60s.
Till October.
Mid-60s all next week. Right now it is 75 and sunny and windy. ESPN Radio.
All of a sudden it's hot year-round. Yeah! Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter. It is Friday. That means 2 things. Name that riff coming up at 4:25. Actually, it means 3 things. Deon Thomas will join us at 5:15, and then the Friday 5 at 5 to wrap things up. I am proud of the 3 of us. We've been on a decent 5 at 5 roll, minus me going to Cancun and Florida.
I am gone next Friday.
Oh, okay.
I went to D.C.
Yeah, never
I'm gone
mind.
this Friday after.
Never mind.
I think 3 in a row.
So that's pretty good
This is
for
a
us.
good streak for us.
This is pretty good
it's a
for
good
us.
streak for us.
It is amazing how often we one of us misses a Friday.
Well, somebody's having a good streak of scoops right now. That's Derek Scoops Piper.
That's a heck of a transition.
Pipes.
Right?
That was really good.
Professional.
Professional.
Been doing this for 5 years now, guys.
6.
He's Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. What's up, Derek?
How's it going?
After that introduction, just a very...
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Oklahoma State's acting like a mid-major. I can tell why they lost Brad Underwood. They hired Mike Boynton, who I don't even think, Derek, from what I heard, wasn't even going to get an assistant job at Illinois.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, although I don't think Doug Gottlieb was the answer for him, I'll tell you that. But it doesn't sound like things are going too well with that program, at least. And not being able to hold on to or even have a chance at Brad Underwood, and then to hire one of his assistants who really was, I believe, his 3rd assistant. At least he has experience coaching in, D1 college basketball, which Doug obviously doesn't, but not a splash hire at all, and I don't think it's resonating too well with that fan base.
And California has hired Viking Jones.
Who?
As their head coach.
Viking or Viking?
Viking Jones. I'll do some... research on that.
Illinois
one.
did really well.
Yeah, they look pretty good right now with that Brad Underwood hire. All right,
really well.
Derek, you broke the news yesterday. Big news for Illini fans is Jamal Walker is staying on staff. How did this come together, and why is it big news?
Well, it was huge. Obviously, Jamal was able to have conversations with Josh before and right after he made the decision to get rid of John, and there was a reason he put him in that interim head coach position. He thought a lot of Jamal and knew his impact recruiting-wise, and really wanted to put him at the forefront of the program to show what he could do for the next head coach. And as some other programs, including Missouri, made it known to Jamal that they were very interested in bringing him on board, Josh once again reaffirmed, we're going to do whatever we can to keep you. And once Brad got hired, I know that there was a little bit of uncertainty just because Brad didn't want to distract from the team and wanted it to be, his moment and the team's moment. But all along, Jamal had said that he and his family wanted to stay here. And then obviously when they lose to Central Florida, the two get to meet and talk it over. And it had always been said that the money was right, and obviously Josh did a great job to give Brad some money to work with, that Jamal was going to stick around. So I had gotten a call the night that Illinois lost that it was probably going to be done by Friday, and then I got a text yesterday that it was done. So we got to break it on IlliniInquirer.com, and I think it's a great move for the program.
Absolutely. Derek Piper, follow him on Twitter at DPiperScout. Now, Derek, I don't care how much you love the spot you're at, and I know money does talk sometimes, and maybe at times it talks louder than what I'm about to say, but if you don't like your boss, you probably aren't going to stay. So hopefully Brad Underwood, who's now in the middle of going with Jamal Walker to sell himself to some recruits, which we will ask you about, it sounds like he did a pretty good job of selling himself to Jamal Walker, and that's important here.
Very important. Josh is going to sell just about anybody. He's a great salesman, very passionate about Illinois, and you just get the sense whenever you listen to him talk or just look at his actions since he's been in that position that he's the right man for the job, the right man for this future of the athletic department as a whole, and for the basketball program. So everybody's very excited about Brad Underwood and his potential, and I think that Jamal, like you said, had a good connection with Josh, trusted him, and then also put his trust in Brad Underwood, knowing that he's a good coach and the direction that this program is going. And ultimately, Jamal wants to be a head coach, and I think that this is the right spot for him to stick around and bring in recruits. And obviously, he's going to get a nice pay raise for that, good recognition. And if Illinois starts to win and becomes a national program again, I think that's when Jamal will get that dream job opportunity.
No surprise, but Michael Porter Jr. is now going to go to Missouri.
Really? Wow.
That's going to be a really interesting thing to watch.
It is.
Down there at Missouri, Derek, because he's going to get talent. Konzo's going to get talent. How do you see that thing playing out?
You said it. He's going to get talent, and that was the one highlight that he had when we were talking about him as a candidate for the Illinois job. There are some question marks about him sticking around at certain spots and how good of a coach is he with Cal kind of flopping on their face down the stretch. But he's a guy that's a really good recruiter, very well respected by people in the basketball community, AAU ties and whatnot. So this is a big move for them to get Porter. It will be a one-year deal, but man, that border war, that bragging rights game just got a whole lot more interesting. Obviously with the news coming out about he maybe turned down an offer that wasn't really there at Illinois, but he's going to get talent there, and it's going to be a challenge. Obviously, you already have SLU down there who makes things a little interesting and difficult with Travis Ford, and now you have another guy who is going to attract talent in that area.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Michael Porter Jr., either the number 1 or number 2 prospect in the country in this class. So
a younger brother, right?
Yeah, and a younger brother who might reclassify to 2017. So, and he's really good too. I think a 4-star prospect. So Mizzou's going to have talent. That's going to be that could be fun though. That could be a fun thing to watch the next couple years. Okay, so they saw Javon Pickett last night, Jamal Walker and Brad Underwood. They're down in St. Louis tonight to see Jeremiah Tillman. Lon asked me, what has to happen? Like, what does Underwood have to sell him, or does he have to sell him?
I think as soon as he brings Jamal Walker with him through the door, I think that's the sell. I think that's the thing they've been waiting for this entire time. That's what his mom has told me throughout the season, even when John was still the head coach, and once he got fired, is Jamal's our guy. And Jeremiah made it known when he committed that was the reason, essentially. He said he wouldn't be here, he wouldn't be committing to Illinois if it wasn't for Jamal Walker. said something similar when he signed his letter of intent. And as soon as you bring him through the door, the relationship that he has with that family and with Jeremiah, I think that's all you really need to do. I know there's been some buzz put in their ear about maybe he's not the right fit for Underwood's system, which I would argue is maybe the opposite, which you need a mobile five-man who can run the floor, go to the rim, set screens, and do a lot of that stuff. And they spread the floor, able to get him the ball. I think it's a pretty easy sell. And then with Jamal sticking around, I don't care what crystal balls say. I'd say that Jeremiah's doing just fine at Illinois.
With Mark Smith, obviously Jamal Walker is key there, but it seems like that Smith family this entire time, and I give him credit for being patient. As an Illini fan, I thank them for being patient, but they kept saying, well, we want the new guy in, meaning Brad Underwood. We want to meet this guy. We want to get to know him. How important does Walker play into that one? And is there, obviously, with regards to Tillman, there's more importance with Smith of Brad Underwood selling himself to him?
Yeah, I think that Jamal there just bridges the gap and can fill Brad in on, this is what we've been selling him on. This is what's worked. This is what hasn't worked. This is how this family likes to operate. This is what's important in terms of this relationship and where we're already at and where we need to go to get him, because they were in a great spot, obviously, before John Gross got fired. And I think it just helps. And you mentioned it. He needs to establish that relationship.
Sure.
And Mark has said that that's very important to him, to have that trust factor and that belief in the head man. So I think he's a great fit in Brad's system to be able to play multiple ball handlers at the same time, and just knowing Mark's explosiveness and his versatility and everything like that. They will get an opportunity to meet for the first time on Sunday once he gets back from visits from Kansas State and Ohio State, and this is go time right now. And now you got your coach, you got Jamal. I think Illinois should be feeling pretty good, although it's going to be a battle to the end.
Pickett, DeMonte Williams, do we expect them to stay on, Derek?
Yeah, it's interesting with DeMonte, because we keep talking about everybody that the staff has been meeting with, or with Brad the last couple days, or going forward. We got to wait and hear about a meeting with DeMonte. Monte has been pretty quiet on Twitter and whatnot, and they're just kind of waiting and seeing what's going on, and they want to be able to sit down with Brad and with Jamal and talk about his future, how he sees him in this program, and whatnot. I think that if they do that and everything goes smoothly, I would expect both to come back. I'm not sure what Brad's plans are for him. I don't think that he has made that especially clear just yet, but if he does have a good plan for him and expects him to play a key role in his program going forward, I think they will stay.
A question, Derek, for you with regards to continuing with recruiting, but even the 2018, obviously these 17 guys are it. This is the priority, and Brad Underwood understands that, and you can't do everything in 24 hours unless you're Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy can do it. But I mean, when does Brad Underwood, and now with Walker on board again, even helps further, when do they start reaching out down the line, the 18 and some of the other kids in state?
Yeah, I think that obviously, 2017 is the first priority.
Sure.
And Mark Smith especially. And you want to make sure that Jeremiah is happy, and they should get pretty good word on that tonight. But after that, wouldn't be a bad time to start reaching out to guys like Ayo Dosunmu, Tim Finke, and then even when they're in the Metro East area down there, maybe stop in and see E.J. Liddell, because he's going to be really, really talented. So I think there's a time for that, maybe not just yet. If you have a free minute, maybe pick up the phone, give them a call, and let them know, introduce yourself, and that we're going to be wanting to build a relationship with you and get you on campus. We'll be watching you here in a couple of weeks once AAU gets going. So there'll be a time for that, and obviously it'll be determining on how many spots they have, but there's some guys that definitely they want to target and make priorities.
Derek, this transfer market's going to be really interesting.
Yes.
I don't expect, we don't know the names that'll be there yet, but I asked Underwood when he was here in studio on Monday just about the Oklahoma State commits.
Right.
How do you kind of play with that? I mean, can you make contact? I don't even know the rules off the top of my head, but that's kind of a delicate situation.
It really is. You can't contact them directly. I think you could probably go through high school coach or AAU coach, or maybe even if the parent. I'm not entirely sure, although we all know that sometimes certain programs don't necessarily play by the rules, but I'm not saying that Illinois wouldn't be. But it's a delicate situation for sure. I think you kind of wait and see what a guy like Zach Dawson, who's a very talented and explosive combo guard down in Miami, what he's going to do. I think now that Oklahoma State has made a hire, you're going to start to hear or figure out what these guys' intentions are, and that does help them, from their standpoint to bridge the gap. Maybe they've already met him, obviously, and gotten to know him, but there's a previous relationship, and they committed to play for Brad, so maybe Illinois gets involved at a certain time if they ask for a release. But I think you can back channel and gauge interest, but that's probably about all you can do right now.
Speaking of delicate, Derek, it's now Brad Underwood's job to meet with the current Illini, and maybe, as we always assume every year, we do it worse than anybody. I mean, I don't mean us, but the fan. You start to wonder, all right, who's coming back, who's not. I'm not asking you to say that, but it is one of those. It's going to be some conversations, obviously, between Underwood and a few of these players on this Illini team. How do you think that's going to go soon?
Yeah, I think next week is when you really start doing that. Sit down with the guys. This weekend will be for recruiting. And Brad has to figure out his staff, which you want to get announced and figure it out as soon as possible. But it's important to meet with the guys and kind of talk about, I think you'll get to talk over the next couple of days with Jamal, just kind of, how their season went, kind of fill them in more on the details and how Jamal thinks they might fit in the system and just kind of their projections going forward. So I think the staff will get to sit down with them and discuss, their futures and maybe what those guys' goals are and how they see a fit. And then if certain guys don't want to stick around or don't feel like they're a fit, or I think that's the time where you start to tell those guys that and figure out their situations, and that will definitely be something to watch probably starting next week.
Derek Piper, Josh Whitman's going to take a day off tomorrow. I think you deserve one too. Why don't you just take a nap tomorrow?
Yeah, lay on the couch, watch some hoops. But yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Are you going to be all creepy down in St. Louis, like creeping around with Brad Underwood and Jamal Walker? That'd be kind of funny.
That's what's good about text messaging, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know what Jeremiah's mom's cooking for dinner. So
right?
Something good, I might show up.
Derek sneaks around the corner with his camera or whatever. Hey, it's Derek Piper. How about that?
Derek, keep up the great work. Go on Inquirer.com. If you're not following him on Twitter, you're an idiot. At DPiper Scout. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Derek Piper sounds tired. I think maybe you're overworking him a little bit.
Hey, he wants to work. That's why
he's
I like
a worker,
him.
and he's one of those guys. He gets better every day, kind of like our interns.
That's what we do.
Yes.
We get better every day. I mean, you show up. That's half the battle.
That's half
you
of
put
it.
in the reps.
Yep.
Right?
Although, I have yet to see Harry take a shot today. He's already getting fat and sassy on his 5 makes yesterday.
Tyler threatened him with 4 in a row.
Oh, he did?
Austin made 5 of 7.
What?
I made 2 in a row.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew's here today, so he's hogging the ball.
That's right.
So that's hard. To their defense, they're being nice to my 9-year-old.
Coming up, we got Name That Riff cards.
Yeah, baby.
2000s version?
Close.
Poison.
Okay. It's close.
I like the one last year.
You will enjoy this one.
Plenty
I
little
guarantee
CC.
it.
No.
I think I have an idea of the band it'll be.
Uh-oh.
I got to guess. I'm going to write it down, see if it's correct.
Okay.
Right.
We also have Deion Thomas, Illini Radio Network, and we have 5 things that Josh Whitman must do.
Which right
next.
now I have 1 down.
I have 3. And
already?
4 and 5.
Are we taking this serious, or can these be fun things?
They could be fun.
Okay. I might do a couple of fun ones and then like 3 serious ones.
Grow out his hair.
Oh, no, I'm not going anywhere near that. He's a lot bigger than me. Have you noticed that? It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
These shots at the end of the games are horrible.
Yep.
Michigan is down 1. They take the longest 2 you can. Does anybody drive anymore? Does anybody try and go, when you're down 1, does anybody look for a high percentage shot on the inside? They just dribble. And there's time. It's not like they're rushed in all of these situations. I'm just amazed at the end of the game situations when the coach can't call that timeout and settle guys down. It just turns into a one-man show, and these guys lob long threes when they're down 1 or 2. Now, West Virginia's case, they were down 3, and And God knows they got look after look, at the end there and just couldn't knock anything down. But I've been somewhat amazed at some of the last-second shots, not just here, but, last weekend as well. It just looked so frantic at the end given the situation.
Hear more from Mike and Mike Monday morning on ESPN Radio.
Remember when a small business needed a landline? Today, landlines are a thing of the past with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. On the road, at the beach, or at home, Grasshopper helps you grow your business. Get all the features of a business phone system and the freedom of a cell phone with our iPhone and Android apps. Features include multiple extensions for your team, calls forwarded to your mobile phones, voicemails transcribed and emailed, and so much more. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
Burger King presents Breakfast Stories. Here's Pete, Tony, and the 2 for $4 croissant deal.
The other day, Pete and I go to Burger King for my croissant. They're just 2 for $4.
Oh, it's my favorite. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so I got 2 croissant, and I gave one to this guy.
I'm like, who are you?
I'm the guy that just paid for your breakfast.
That's my favorite guy.
You guys. The croissant deal is 2 for $4. Now made with 100% butter for a soft and flaky croissant. Get 2 croissant sandwiches now for $4 only at Burger King. Price and participation vary.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the 4-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda.
Let's go!
Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda.
Here we go! Yes, I love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with a signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. So come on in for a taste as big as Texas. Dine in, take it home, or serve it up to the entire gang on North Cunningham in Urbana.
If you have nothing to smile about, schedule an appointment today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Turn your frown upside down and show off those beautiful teeth. We all have unique smiles, and we know what it takes to maintain those smiles. After all, a smile is like a personal signature, whether young or old. Maintaining your beautiful smile has never been easier with a visit to Angel Smiles Dental Center. From fillings, crowns, and root canals to dental implants and braces for kids and adults alike, Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul will serve your entire family for all of your dental needs in all stages of life. Angel Smiles accepts the medical card for most services. For those children 20 and under, they accept a number of insurance plans, and they have an in-house dental plan to help people who have no insurance at all. Angel Smiles Dental Center is waiting to see you. Schedule a visit today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Visit angelsmilesdentalcenter.com. That's angelsmilesdentalcenter.com, or call 892-8868.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement question. Our experts from Land, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing can help. Need help with home remodeling? Talk to our service experts from Flooring Services, where the world is at your feet. Need to pay for those home improvements? Talk to our financial experts from the U of I Community Credit Union. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com. ESPN 93.5 invites you on our annual bus trip to see the St. Louis Cardinals take on the world champion Chicago Cubs Wednesday, April 5th. And it's all brought to you by Rosati's Pizza in Urbana. Buy your bus and right field game day tickets for just $99. Or register to win a set of free tickets at Rosati's Pizza, 701 Gregory in Urbana. It's our annual bus trip to Busch Stadium in St. Louis to see the Cubs take on the Cardinals Wednesday, April 5th. Get information on the trip by calling 367-1195 or at ESPNCU.com today.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 4:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com and you'll be entered to win a free 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. New Illini women's basketball coach Nancy Fay was introduced in a press conference today at the University of Illinois. Fay is a 5-time national title winner and watched you made 10 Final Fours and was won 737 games in her 31 years with the Bears. Here's Coach Fay at her introductory press conference.
That everybody's going to say that, at Division III, one, we did recruit. Okay, the difference is it's a Division I recruiting, and I'm fully aware of that. The one thing that I'm not afraid to do is ask questions, and I'm not afraid to put really strong people around me. This doesn't have to be. This is not about me. This is about making Illinois basketball the best. And so what you want to do is you put yourself around people that know what you don't know as well, and be willing to learn.
The NCAA Sweet 16 is halfway through, and two Big Ten teams are already out of the running. Kansas absolutely crushed Purdue 98-66. Caleb Swanigan led the Boilers with 18 points, and Kansas was led by Frank Mason with 26 of his own. The other Big Ten team that fell was the Wolverines, who lost to Oregon 69-68. Derek Walton scored 20 for the losing Michigan team, and Tyler Dorsey led the Ducks with 20. The final Big Ten team standing is Wisconsin. They play the Florida Gators tonight on TBS. That's going to be around 8:59 p.m. Central Time. Other Thursday results were number 1 seed Gonzaga squeaking out a 61-58 win over Bob Huggins' West Virginia Mountaineers, and number 11 Xavier putting together a comeback 73-71 victory over number 2 seed Arizona. Games that don't include the Big Ten teams are Butler versus North Carolina and Baylor taking on South Carolina. And Mizzou just got a commit from 5-star forward Michael Porter Jr.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's surprising, right? His dad's is an assistant. And that's the update.
I'd check into that, NCAA. I'm kidding. It is the Tay and J Show, and I want to tell you, you got one final week. Prairie View Landscaping is continuing their 25th anniversary celebration by giving away a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. MyPVDiscount@gmail.com. That's what you want to hit. For a free quote, you get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care, and you must register by Thursday, March 30th, to be eligible to win the TV. That's at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes, and they're going to install it just in time for the Final Four. Prairie View Landscaping, offering up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care and a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. Send them an email at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Way to go, Andrew. All right, boys. Josh Whitman gets a day off on Saturday. You all right?
Yes.
What did Andrew do? He's out of my...
I'm trying to read this
Did he have
ad.
the same sign up?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm reading this ad while also getting the next song ready for Jeremy to talk to intro our show because mine was about ready to run out. Yeah. And then I look over and Andrew's got his iPad and there's something written on it that I'd rather not comment on. It's not bad for all you parents out there,
no.
But it is kind of bad.
D's. You can take it from there. All right, we got Name That Riff.
Oh, man.
I got to pull that song up, correct?
Yes. Same folder.
Okay, I got you.
Let's see. Name That Riff, of course, brought to you by the Upper Bout. They're located on Neal Street next to El Toro. Wide selection of new and used guitars, acoustic, electric, amplifiers, accessories. They have guitar lessons. If you're a beginner, if you're an expert, whatever you may need, the Upper Bout, Ricky and the guys over there will take care of you. You can also check out their stuff online at theupperbout.com.
Are we emailing? Or I'm sorry, not emailing.
Text line.
Do not email us. I haven't checked our
email Lindy. Email Lindy what your guess for name that riff is. Okay, so this is a text line competition. 359-2255. 359-2255. Name of the song and the artist.
No, this isn't it, though.
Is this Warren? I always mix it up.
This is Great White Mr. Bone.
Great White.
Great White Mr. Bone.
Mr. Bone.
Is it
not Mr.
Is that a bass riff too?
And I need to.
Is that a
I
bass?
need to let Austin know the song here.
We're doing this again.
He texted. I do this
we
every
only
time.
have all week.
Yeah, to prepare for this.
But let's just say
I would be doing the same
thing. Should we throw Carp under the bus since it's his segment?
That's fine. I think people will enjoy this particular
segment. This is the band I'm going to guess it is.
Okay.
So you've seen that. I've written it down.
I've got it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see.
Does Austin know?
Austin knows.
Okay.
All right, so the first one to text in at 217-359-2255.
We've confused everybody.
That's 217-359-2255.
Yeah, here we go.
We'll win a $25 gift card to the Upper Bout.
That's right.
Are we ready?
I'm ready to roll.
Are we prepared?
I think I am.
So.
Okay.
I got the red button on.
Here we go. That's what she said. Ooh. It's not that band that I thought it was going to be.
I've heard
I know that riff.
I've heard that.
Oh, yeah! Oh, I was close. I was close, Carp.
You know it, but can you name it?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You're right on it.
I knew the genre. Oh, yeah. That's such a good song.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't care what anyone says. This is a classic.
Led Zeppelin.
Lon, you missed this era of rap rock. Oh, it's so good.
I checked the lyrics. I don't think he cusses in this one.
You don't think?
No, I listened to it.
Okay, I know this song. I don't know what it's called or who sings
Hold
it.
on. Let it go, Lon.
Keep waiting for it to just kick in. I love it.
I don't care who you are.
No, it works. If it works, it works.
Good rock music.
I need to get this on my workout.
Yeah. Don't forget Cowboy.
I love it. I think
Without a Cause.
I think we already have an answer
A
for this.
solid album, a solid rock album.
Should I stop?
No, you're good.
That's fine.
90s reference.
Oh, baby.
Of course it is Kid Rock, Bow with the Ba. Yeah. Dude,
everybody's like, leave that out.
I still love rap rock. I think that genre was so good.
What if it comes
Dude,
back? I mean, everything's circular. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little rap rock around the
The
Suns.
band I wrote down was Limp Bizkit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've yet to do a Limp Bizkit song.
I thought you were going to go Limp Bizkit today.
Very close.
But that was good.
Is the song really called Ball to Ball?
Ba with the Ba.
Ball with the Ball.
We have no idea what it means.
BAWIT.
But it gets the people going.
Oh, yeah. I would see him live just to see that one song.
After a fifth of Jack one night, I'm sure Kid Rock didn't either.
I've seen him live, Carp.
Good.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
I bet he would be.
blew Bon Jovi out of the water, right?
He opened for Bon Jovi.
Unbelievable.
We go there, and he was awesome. Like that song, like people were going nuts, but the rest of it was great too.
Did he close with it? Was it?
I think he closed with the huge pop hit he had.
Oh, okay.
When we were in college.
Smoking funny things.
But it was a good time.
Sing Sweet Home
That's a good song too. Didn't he play here for Jimmy John's?
He did. It
Private
was,
show, yeah.
and we were at Memphis on Main playing our gig. And so we pull up,
and
I pulled
one
my
person was there.
No, I'm
kidding.
There was 8, okay. I pulled my Honda CRV with my guitar amp and guitar, and I look over and there's these gleaming buses
just
and like
right
8 roadies just taking stuff into the Accord.
How cool is
that?
that?
But we didn't hear anything. I thought it was going to be loud enough because we were right next door that we were going to feel
Kid
Rock
vibes.
playing.
That's cool.
All right. How much do you guys think Kid Rock is worth? His net worth?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm guessing $50 million.
Juan?
I would say, how long has he been popular? Look,
About
when was
20
that
years.
song?
About 20 years. 1997, 98 is when he really came up.
I'm going more than that.
A touring act, too.
I'm going to go upward. I'll say closer to $100 million.
Juan's closer.
Wow.
$80 million.
Think about how much they make at a concert.
Yeah, and he tours a lot.
Like I was
He
thinking,
probably makes, what, $100,000 show?
probably.
like
Usually
50?
it's a guarantee. I mean, it might be a little more than, it might be $500,000.
Like
Yeah.
Garth, and I don't mean to switch here. Well, I'm not switching. It's pertinent. But Garth is making what, $75 a seat?
Yeah, but usually what they do, from what I understand, is that you go into a venue and you say, we're going to play for this flat fee.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's now the onus is on the venue to sell all the tickets.
Got it. Fair enough.
So for an established act, they just say, we're getting $1 million a night or
Yeah,
something like that. And
fair
they
enough.
Get $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit had a nice run there with Kid Rock and Eminem.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Uncle Kracker becomes famous.
Who can
He was
forget?
part of Kid Rock's band.
Yeah.
And Uncle Kracker becomes this, like, slow rock.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Kind of
Well, let us not forget Joe C.
Played
Joe
with
May
Chess.
he rest in peace, Joe C.
That's cool, man.
Little
That's some
man.
good stuff. man.
Marshall Trucker Band? Is that what it's
The Brown Trucker Band.
called? Really good.
And
Okay.
a drummer that is awesome.
She rocks.
Yeah.
I'm saying it right now. When we close this segment, we're closing it with that song.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm ready to close the segment right now, then.
You want? Let's close it, and we'll come back with what we've got some
With Josh
recommendations.
Whitman's top 5 list.
Yeah.
Now that he's, renovated the football and basketball
Hey, Whitman,
programs.
you've got 21 minutes left in this day. You're not cutting out early.
No.
Because you've done some hires lately.
We might get Saturday off.
Yeah, but you're not cutting out at 4:38 on a Friday. So you better stick around and listen to what we got to say next.
Otherwise, he's on the hot seat
That's
with Mike Small.
With Mike Small. There's room for 2. Bring us home, Kid Rock. It's the Tay and J Show.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com. As the leader in fire protection and security systems for industrial, commercial, and residential buildings, Matco features exceptional protection. Matco installs, maintains, and inspects fire sprinklers, alarms, CCTV, security systems, and access controlled systems. Their vigilance is a must-have priority to protect your assets. Matco's digital monitoring and veteran personnel are your best security investment. Their 24-hour emergency service ensures that you are covered at all times. Contact Matco at matcofire.com.
Join the Champaign Parks Foundation for a night of dancing, singing, and laughing to benefit Champaign Parks and programs on Saturday night, April 1st at the City Center. Doors open at 7, with comedian Chris Schlichting taking the stage at 7:30, followed by Mike and Joe, one of the nation's most renowned rock cover bands who will get you moving to cover tunes from the 90s through today. Brought to you by Scotty's Brewhouse and Stevie J Broadcasting. Get your tickets for $10 or $20. Available now or at the door. ChampaignParks.com.
Prairie View Landscaping is continuing their 25th anniversary celebration by giving away a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. When you do, you'll be registered to win a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes just in time for the Final Four. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Protecting your home and family, you better have a plan. Keep them safe from harm with a home alarm from F.E. Moran. Home invasions are on the rise all across the land, but they'll think twice when they see the sign for F.E. Moran. Don't wait till it's too late. It's time to make a stand. Call 877 F.E. Moran.
is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter. We've got Deion Thomas at 5:15. We'll ask him about the new hire with Brad Underwood and moving forward with Illinois basketball now that the season is done.
We will get to our list for Josh Whitman coming up, but we got a special guest on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. It's former Illini women's basketball coach Teresa Grentz, the last coach to lead Illinois to the women's NCAA tournament and now coach of Lafayette College. Thanks for joining us, Coach Grentz.
Gentlemen, very nice to be with you. Thank you.
Well, what can you tell us about Nancy Faye? Obviously a great resume at the Division III level, but what did you think of that hire?
I thought it was great. Josh hit one over the moon on this one. I think you are going to love her, and I think she's a terrific hire.
Why is it, I guess, why is the idea, Coach, of somebody jumping from D3 to D1? What are some of the challenges? Now, for Nancy, obviously, she's coached for so long, and not only coached for so long, but had huge success for so long. But what will still be some of the challenges for her stepping up, if you will, to Division I?
All right, now, fellas, I listened to her interview today, and I thought it was great. You guys I understand where you're coming from, and it's Division III to Division I, and I get that.
Right.
But here's what you guys have to understand, and I really don't expect you to understand this, but here's what you need to know, is that Nancy Faye gets it. Okay? She gets it. She understands what it takes to make women's basketball go, and she's one of the ones who's done it. And she's not only stayed in a little cocoon there in Division III, she also stepped up. She's been in USA Basketball. She's done other things.
Nice.
And by doing that, she's broadened her horizons. She knows what she needed to do at Wash, and she'll know what she needs to do here in a BCS school like Illinois to compete in the Big Ten and to get to the NCAA tournament. Trust me. Just give her a shot at it. Don't pick it apart before you get started. Same way when Lon Kruger and Barb came in here and you complained about something, or when Bruce Weber came in, you complained.
Hey, wait a minute, Coach. I didn't complain, not at all. In fact, I'm really excited about this. And you know why, Coach? Because when I was in TV, when I covered you here, I also covered Lori Kearns over at Milliken, and I always used to talk to Coach Kearns and say, I think you would be one that could make that next step up. So I mean it, Coach. I'm excited about this. So I hope you didn't take it the wrong way. I'm really excited.
No. Not you guys. I'm just saying that's the most natural question.
Sure.
I get it. I understand it. But you've got to understand you have a candidate here who gets it.
Awesome.
She wants to do what needs to be done. She loves Illinois, and there's a great relationship between her boss and what she wants to do, and he understands and he gets her. And I think that's key because I had that with Ron Gunther, and I thought fabulous AD. Best guy, loved working for him. And that's key. And I think that you've got that now with her. So if you guys can get past this, where she comes from in Division III, and just give her a shot, give her a break, you're going to be okay.
I love it.
She knows what kind of players she needs to be in a BCS situation.
Do you know her well, Coach?
I know her. We've had conversations through the years. I've not actually sat down and had dinner with her, but she's somebody that I think she's great. I love her. What I do know about her, I think she's terrific.
What kind of style of play can we expect out of Nancy Faye?
Well, again, they asked me this question, and I love the way she answered in her interview today. She said, I'm going to play to what my players play. And you guys had 4 freshmen this year. One of your last games scored like 75 of the 79 points.
Right.
You've got some players. You've got some people who can play. She will take those people. She will mold that. She will do whatever it takes to be able to be successful. I'll give you, for instance, there's a guy over here on the East Coast. He takes this job. All right, he's like, hey, here I am. I'm going to take the job, blah, blah, blah. He wants to run 5 out. All right, great. So what does he do? He calls in all the kids who are in the program. You're 6', 6'1", gives them a release and says you're not going to fit in here. Really? Really? That's what you're going to do in women's basketball? I mean, you're drawing such great crowds anyway. That's really why you're here in this game, and that's why you've got a good one, because she gets it.
It'll be fun. Nancy Fay was, of course, named Illinois women's basketball coach. We're visiting now with Teresa Grantz, former Illini basketball coach. And, Coach, when you were here and I was covering it, and I loved it, and, of course, you were packing Huff Hall as well, what's it going to take for Nancy to get this program back to where you had it?
Well, I'm going to tell you, in my office right now at Lafayette, I have the 360 pen vision of the Assembly Hall sold out at 16,000.
Awesome.
In there. And it was a great time. I loved it there. And Nancy will do what she needs to do. I mean, you've got the one thing I think you have to understand is that when you take over this program and there's great excitement and she's thrilled to do that, you can't do it the way your guy for your men is going to. It's Brad, right?
Yep, right.
Correct. You can't do it the same way. You can't. It can't be done the same way. And you say, why? Because it can't. I'm just telling you that. You can do what you want, but I'm going to tell you what it's going to turn out. She'll know what she needs to do to be able to engage the community, to engage Southern Illinois, to engage Central Illinois, to engage Chicago, and put that in a positive situation for the University of Illinois, and she'll do it.
Coach, this job has a lot of upside.
Sure.
But it hasn't been there for a while, right? I mean, it hasn't been there since you were here. What are the challenges that maybe she can learn from the past couple coaches?
Do you want my answer, or you want me to give you a nice answer?
No, I want the real
answer.
You want a Teresa Grant? Okay, I'll be honest with you. First of all, you better figure out by location, because you've got to be in Chicago so much, and then you've got to be able to be in the rest of the state. And there are players in the rest of the state that are very, very good that can play in the Big Ten. And you've got to find those players and put that mix together. And you've got to be able to be in Chicago for what you need there. And you got to keep a good balance with that. And the problem is, and I remember, it's probably a 2 hours. It's not 55. What was that road that
57.
came up between? That's it. That one. You got to be on that one. Everybody was bored with that one. They said because of the scenery. Well, I was never bored with that one because I was constantly thinking of all the things that I had to do when I had to go back between Chicago and Champaign. And that's the biggest challenge. That's the biggest challenge. All your other schools in the Big Ten, you have your center is like where Wisconsin is, where Ohio State is, even Iowa. That's their center. Ours isn't there. Ours is in Champaign, and it's downstate. Sometimes people look down at that.
Sure.
And you've got to overcome that one. You've got to figure out that one.
Coach Grantz, I want to ask you this question because whenever we bring up the women's basketball program, it always gets brought up how they always stuffed Huff Hall. Mm-hmm. And now they have it at the State Farm Center, which, we always hear you got to recruit, and that's what you got to sell is these big crowds. But there hasn't been big crowds there, and it kind of makes it a stale atmosphere. What do you think about that? Is that harder to have a good program in the State Farm Center, or should it be in a smaller, kind of more intimate place?
There's two reasons there. One, from the recruiting standpoint, if you're constantly going to the second arena or the second place to play, then you get killed in recruiting that way. But the other piece is there's no way you want to come out of that tunnel in the Assembly Hall or whatever they're calling it now and say, and there's 125 people in there. There's no way. And the last year that I was there, we had won the award for the Big Ten for we were averaging 6,500 in our games, and it was work. But I can tell you right now, I would go find Mike Raycraft, and he's still there, and the guys that I worked with to be able to sell the program to the community and sell it to the schools. We had a championship program and put it together where people sponsor tickets to be able to put the schools in there and get them in to see it. And you have to do things differently. You cannot just say, here's our schedule, everybody come and see the games, because they're not going to do it. And you're going to end up at an empty place, and then people are going to say, hey, why do we have the women play over here? It costs so much money. Let them go play in this little arena over here. And it's tough. But I will say this. Those first years when we went to the Sweet 16, to the Final Eight, what was so important was playing in Huff and beating Duke and a few other people in there. They hated it. It was great. It was great. They hated it.
I bet. I can remember just coming over.
I mean, they complained. they bitched and moaned and complained, and we draped it and piped it and all that stuff, but it's still not the same.
I love it.
It was great.
Coach stopped short of painting like the locker room like they did at Iowa for some reason, but I know they hated it.
Yeah.
Coach, was it me? Why'd you leave me? Why'd you leave Illinois? We had a good relationship going.
Why? I think people get tired of you after a while. You can only stay so long. They get tired of you.
Yeah.
They want something else. It's like, okay, what have you done for me in the last 20 minutes?
Well, that's true. Well, I enjoyed every second that Teresa Grentz was the Illini women's basketball coach. I can tell you that. And, Coach,
well, thank you.
You are definitely.
I had a great time, and I could tell you, I sincerely, at where we live now, we have a guy 2 doors over that lives from Michigan, and we fly our Illini flags all the time. And, and I have my little plants outside. They're on a pot or on a planter with Illinois and the whole thing.
I love it.
I've used that all. It was a wonderful time. It was a great phase of our life for both our boys, my husband. I loved it, and it was something that I will always cherish, and that's why I am so thrilled for all of you and with Nancy, because I know she gets it.
That's great. Coach, one more, because I know, was it Kevin? That was your son that went to STM, I believe.
Yes, and we are waiting any moment for his second child.
Awesome.
Oh, great.
I was going to ask how the boys are doing. So everybody's going around. Now you're having kids. Now you're Grandma Grintz. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm G-Ma.
G-Ma.
My first one, and she's great. She's great. Emily's great. And I'm going to make her a shooting 2-guard. I've already told Kevin. And she's great. She comes to the games. She sits. She watches. She cheers. And I've already said, when we win this championship, I said, Kevin, I've got to climb up first, cut it, and then I want you to hand me Emily so I can then have her on that ladder. I've already got plans.
I love it. I love this. Well, Coach Grintz, it's an honor to talk to you again, and it's great to visit with you. Thank you for your time on Nancy Faye, and I mean it when I say this. I'm excited about this hire. I'm excited to see someone that has been so successful move up and take this over. And I'm a big Illinois women's basketball fan, and I want to see this program get back to the heights it saw with you. So, Coach, thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome. And again, Nancy's. That's why I said she gets it. She's done this. She knows what she needs to do to make this adjustment and to make this, and I'm not going to call it a jump. I'm just going to call it a move.
Perfect.
And in her career, she knows, she understands it. She's been around it. She talked about putting people together on her staff. She will. And I am absolutely delighted. And I hope someday you guys will, honor that 97 team and bring us back.
Hey, let's do it. That'll be on the list for Josh Whitman.
Josh will get behind that.
We've got a list coming up for Josh Whitman, so we'll do that. Well, good luck with baby number 2 there, grandbaby number 2, Coach.
We are excited. All right, listen, fellas, thank you, and go Illini.
Thank you, Teresa. That's awesome.
I'm glad
Teresa
she was able
Grintz.
to call in.
I know.
That was good perspective.
She's awesome. Coach Grintz was so fun to cover.
That East Coast, that brash honesty.
Her and I would go every once in a while in a press conference.
Sure.
It's like,
it's
Coach,
not personal.
I'm on your side.
And it's not personal.
No, but that's why I kind of was like, whoa.
She's got an edge.
Juan, listen, what you got to understand is, that was a great interview, though. And I remember, too, she was talking about the panoramic of the Assembly Hall, and I think that was a Sunday afternoon game against Purdue.
Look at you.
But I just...
You're freaky, man.
No, it was a big deal.
It's creepy.
I think that was on the heels of the first Sweet 16 run, and Ashley Bergman was still here. There was one other player, a forward.
There was the Catchings.
That was just after that.
That was just after. I'll think of it.
But I do remember that, though. I mean, it was basically a full house there.
Yes.
And they made a concerted effort to make that the one big game at the Assembly Hall. That was a big home court advantage of the Huff, though. That was a really cool environment.
And that's the thing. Like, this program has been non-existent since she left.
But I think Coach showed you that if you're getting 6,000 at the State Farm Center isn't great.
But
with the NIT, and that was kind of fun.
That's a great atmosphere.
That's what I mean.
If you fill that lower bowl,
right?
Yeah.
So if Coach Faye can win and get back to where Grintz was getting 6,000, I think then that's fine. I think then you'd sell me on the fact that the State Farm Center is right, and she's right about recruiting.
I'm going to ask Carp this because I know you read my story. How many top 8 finishes do you think this women's program has had since Grintz left in the Big Ten?
0.
1.
Wow.
Was it under Jolette Long?
Tied for 5th in Bolot's first year.
Wow.
Made the Elite 8 of the WNIT.
I mean, it's terrible.
I'm
ready. And I listen,
because I know people aren't all into women's basketball. When they're good,
they're fun.
You can get behind them,
Yes,
and
you
it's fun to have that other team that you can go to State Farm Center and root on the Illini.
Absolutely. And I used to love, especially at Huff Hall, man, when Coach Grant, she's talking about Duke. I remember covering that game. When you'd go in there and that crowd would be so loud and it was so hot in Huff. I mean, it was just one of those that was really fun. It was a home court advantage for sure.
And I do think it'd be great for a lot of the girls basketball players in this area to have a team they can go there, root for, and watch win games.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be awesome.
All right, Deion Thomas, Illinois Radio Network's going to join us next hour. We'll sneak in our wish list.
We'll do it in the drive time.
For Josh Whitman, that's right. And drive time and Friday 5 at 5. We got a lot to do here coming up. It is the Tay and J Show.
It seems like in every home, there's at least one room that's either too hot or too cold. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Mitsubishi Electric has your comfort solution. Mitsubishi Electric cooling and heating systems are up to 40% more efficient with no ductwork and whisper quiet. Individual room control, giving you the freedom to find your perfect comfort level and save money too. Make your whole home comfortable again. See Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for your comfort solution and live better.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Our Champaign County nursing home failed a recent public health inspection. They've been fined for inadequate care. Medicare has dropped them to a 1-star rating, and over 80 beds are empty. Seniors in our community deserve better. We've given the politicians who run the home over $37 million, and now have the worst-run nursing home in the county. Now they want more money but refuse to make changes. We need to take the nursing home out of the hands of politicians and put it in the hands of a responsible organization that knows how to manage care for seniors. Opponents of a sale are spreading falsehoods. If the nursing home is sold, not only will no one be kicked out, but more seniors will be helped and the quality of life will be improved for all. It's time to stop the political games and bring in professional management. On April 4th, vote no on the property tax hike and vote yes to sell the nursing home to someone who will give our seniors care they deserve. This is paid for by Save CCNH. Vote to sell.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Kathleen Maloney. Republicans could not muster the votes to repeal and replace Obamacare.
It's pretty exciting for us. Yesterday, our anniversary. Today, a victory for the Affordable Care Act. More importantly, for the American people.
House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi with her party's reaction. Fox's Jared Halpern has more live on Capitol Hill.
Despite hours of debate and weeks of negotiations, House Speaker Paul Ryan pulled the American Health Care Act from consideration just as a vote was scheduled to begin.
We weren't just quite there today. We will get there, but we weren't there today.
Republican leaders, including President Trump, could not overcome opposition from groups of conservatives and moderates, the president telling reporters he predicts the current health care law will explode on its own.
I think the losers are Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer because now they own Obamacare. They own it. 100% own it.
President Trump says he's ready to move on to tax reform, but remains open to working with Democrats on a new health care plan. Kathleen.
Thanks, Jared. Hillary Clinton tweeted her reaction to the GOP's failure to vote on their health care plan, saying today was a victory for all Americans. A jury finds former Penn State President Graham Spanier guilty of 1 count of child endangerment for his handling of a child sex abuse complaint against assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky. He was acquitted of 2 other counts. Sandusky is serving decades in prison. 6 of the 10 people rounded up after the terror attack in London have been released without charges. The 4 still in custody are being investigated for possible terror activities or ties to attacker Khalid Massoud. Police are trying to determine how he became radicalized. Stocks closed mixed, the Dow dropping 59 points, S&P slipping 2, NASDAQ up 11. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Ready for a new tractor? At LS Tractor, we'll be the first to tell you to shop and compare. That's right, shop our competition. We're that confident that the LS Tractor combination of more standard features, better performance, competitive price, and proven commitment to customer satisfaction deliver value that's unequaled by another tractor. Period. Want more tractor for your money? Look around. You'll see there's one that gives it to you. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Writing job descriptions, sifting through resumes, setting up interviews. Hiring's hard, but Indeed.com makes it easier. Post your job, manage candidates, schedule interviews, all on Indeed. And since independent research shows that Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, easy works. Right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
A man heads to prison after falling for a phony internet story.
The man from North Carolina who believed the so-called Pizzagate hoax and took his loaded firearms to the D.C. pizza parlor looking for human trafficking victims is pleading guilty to federal crimes and will spend as long as 5 years in prison. Edgar Madison Welch of Salisbury, North Carolina, even started shooting at a locked door inside the pizza place, thinking child victims were inside. Nothing was inside. The whole story, which was intended to smear Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, has since been proven to be fake news. Eben Brown, Fox News.
A rough ride home for rail commuters in New York and New Jersey after 2 passenger trains clipped each other during the morning rush hour at Penn Station. An Amtrak Acela train headed to Washington partially derailed. There were no serious injuries, but plenty of service disruptions. The Force is with Star Wars, despite the passing of a key character.
Disney executive Bob Iger addressed the future of the Star Wars franchise and Carrie Fisher's role at a tech and entertainment conference Thursday, saying Carrie appears throughout Star Wars Episode 8. We're not changing anything to deal with her passing, and no digital imaging of her character will be done. The Disney exec also talked about the standalone Han Solo film, saying we'll get to see the moment Solo lays his eyes on the Millennium Falcon and meets up with his furry pal Chewbacca. Fisher will be honored at a public memorial service Saturday, along with her mother, Debbie Reynolds. Star Wars The Last Jedi will hit theaters December 15th. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Recapping our top story, no House vote to repeal and replace Obamacare. President Trump and Republican leaders pulled the GOP health bill after it was clear there wasn't enough support to pass it. The president now predicting that Obamacare will implode. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
You know who you are. That person that annoys me.
Mm-hmm. It's just got to pop into your head.
Yep. They know who they are.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. For all your heating and air conditioning needs, call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight's getting down to 57. We might get some rain overnight and in the morning. Maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 66, a low of 54. And the coldest day in the next, well, hopefully until like November,
right,
will be Sunday. 59 the high, 46 the low with rain in the morning. Might be a rainy week, but it will be mild in the 60s.
I got so many sheets over here, they're bugging me.
All next week. Right now it's 73 ESPN Radio.
You ready? Are you ready? I know one Friday I forgot this, but that was only one time. Oh yeah, it's time to start this Friday 5 o'clock hour with little Kenny. It is Lante's favorite hour of the Tay and J Show, the final hour of the Tay and J Show, and it's even more apparent today because I just walked outside and it is stinking beautiful.
All right, should we just skip drive time? We'll give the sponsor its due.
I think we should.
Yes, and just give our our list of 5 things for Josh Whitman to do.
So this is our Whitman wish list?
Yeah, our Whitman wish list.
Brought to you by you or me.
That's Honda, BMW, Champaign.
Right.
For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampagne.com.
The only thing you missed, it does not say visiting on this little piece of paper in front of me. That's impressive that you guys remember.
Well, I thought it was going to be tough because sometimes if there's a musical cue, you remember words easier.
It just pops into my head.
It does. That's true. I'm always impressed that you guys remember that. I always am.
Well, it's repetition. You just get better every day.
That's what Harry told me.
That's what we do.
The show didn't get this good overnight, Lon.
Andrew
years of practice.
Andrew walks in here the last segment and looks at Jeremy and I, and he goes, "That Harry guy?"
Anyway,
starts dogging him.
So since Josh Whitman has completely fixed the football and basketball programs, they will be nationally elite within 3 years, right?
Done.
Yeah, we'll see. But he did address those. He did what he had to do.
Did.
Now they have to get to work. So what is next on Josh Whitman's list? So, boys,
3-1. Should we go ascending order?
we got top 3, right?
Top 3, and I now have a fourth.
I got a fourth too, so we can just kind of throw that out there.
Kind of a fun one.
What is number 1?
Let's
go to the top 1.
Top 1.
Top thing on your list.
I honestly want, and I said it earlier, a home golf match with this Illinois golf team. They are going to win a national title this year. Next year would be the perfect time to give them their rings. I assume they do that in golf with a home match down here at Stone Creek. I don't care if it's Illinois and SIU or Illinois and Eastern. I don't care. I know Mike Small came on with us and went into a huge reasoning as to how it won't work and why it can't work.
Yeah.
It could be 30 degrees and Illini fans would be all over that place watching these guys, especially if they win a national title.
Well, even if they just make the Final Four next year and you got a senior class of Hardy and Meyer, those sophomores, Baumgarten and Fiegels, Liparelli's a junior, that could be the team, right? I think people would definitely get behind it.
We just don't get to see these kids, and it's not their fault. We get to, luckily for Illinois fans.
It's not your fault.
You know what's funny?
It's not your fault.
Lon, it's okay, buddy. What's great for Illinois fans is that we do get to see these kids because every year they're good enough to get to TV.
On TV.
But other than that, we never get to see them, and I think that would be so cool to just watch a college golf match, especially with a national title team of Illinois. They're going to win it this year.
I'm going with facilities here. Just finish Memorial Stadium.
Okay.
Finish it up.
That football facility, I have number 1 too, Carp.
Yeah.
Like, recruiting-wise, it's killing you.
Mm-hmm.
It's killing you. Like,
I don't doubt it.
The rest of the Big Ten is just killing you with facilities. It's not about actual Memorial Stadium. And they might not even, they're going to renovate the south end zone.
Right.
But the actual football facility might be attached to the practice facility.
Oh, wow.
The indoor practice facility now. It just get that as good as you can because it is hurting you right now. You are stuck in the 80s with your football facility.
The other day, no, not the other day, it was a while ago, I went for Media Day. The other day. I went to Media Day at Illinois football. And I don't ever, like I did in TV, I used to go to all those events. I don't do that anymore. But I had told you, I said, I'm going to come get a couple interviews with some of the guys and just come down. So I walk into Memorial Stadium. Now keep in mind, I sit in the horseshoe. So my view is always from the horseshoe north. That day I came down and sat on the north end and stared south at that horseshoe, and I had forgotten how just bad it looks.
And it's not just, it's like, I know fans think of that, Lon. It's about where these kids go every day, where the where the staff has meetings. They're meeting, like, it is so far below the rest of the Big Ten.
Fair enough.
That's what's matters. It's not even what the fans see. It's what those kids see and work in every day.
Fair enough.
All right, number 2 on your list, Cart.
New basketball jerseys. I know
Rebrand? I got rebrand number 4 on my list.
And maybe you don't need a full rebrand.
I hate it.
For basketball.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
I think the shield will stick as a secondary thing. The font, I don't get. I don't get the
Mike
font.
Thomas, man.
He really just screwed
at the time, I'm like, okay, this doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, but it's sort of like the Beckman hire. It's like, well,
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, so my thought would be this. For the foreseeable future, until you get a new rebrand or just change the stupid font, then for basketball jerseys, take the retro flannel on and do white, blue, and orange. Because you know what? I think if you're a recruit, that's something different to have a retro-looking jersey as opposed to this nonsense with the cheap Illini weck, here's your zigzags, so you people shut up about it, even though it looks terrible.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
gaudy
and it's ugly, and they need to get rid of them.
I like the football uniforms. I like the soccer. I even said that day I hated the baseball. I think the baseball uniforms are terrible.
They're weird.
And we said that day we love soccer.
Yes, the soccer.
Their soccer are awesome. Mike Thomas.
So not a big deal.
Right? That guy's he's just frustrating. My second one was I want a new baseball facility. I want a new baseball
facility. That's number 3
facility.
on my list.
I think that I think this team deserves it. After that run they went on, I know that Dan Hartleb really was hoping this year's team would be a little bit better. I think last year was almost better than he imagined.
Yeah.
Going 12-12 in the Big Ten, winning 20-some games. And now this year they're off to a kind of a struggling start. But I think in the next 2 years you're going to have a really good team at Illinois. And we saw it. When that's fun, when this team is good, Illinois fans will come out and watch it on a nice day. Tailgate. I mean, we did that a few times. So give me a facility. I've been down to Louisville to that facility.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, granted, they really take baseball serious there, but I went and looked at that, and I'm thinking that can be done here, especially with Illinois. You've got so much room. That's the one thing. Louisville has they have a stinking railroad track that goes through not through right field, but right behind right field. Illinois' got so much room to expand and just do some cool things. That's what I want to see.
It'd be really cool to have the students in the bleachers.
Yes.
I think that'd be phenomenal.
You know, SIU, real quick, SIU has the hill and down the right field line. They have the hill, and that's one thing that students go to and sit on the hill. They love it.
The other thing, I think basketball practice facility, I think you need to attach that to the State Farm Center.
Fair enough.
Right across the street from Memorial Stadium. In that north lot. I think you need a new basketball practice facility too, because you got to catch up.
I agree.
Got to catch up with these things.
Could you just close that whole area?
No, I don't think you have to. I just think, where that guard shack is and where some of that stuff is, you can just put a basketball practice facility there and attach it so everything's right next to each other. My last fun one, get a good opponent up at the United Center game.
Okay, fair enough.
These games,
New Mexico State's not doing it for you.
Oh, it is schedule somebody huge.
I agree. Why not?
Go play them wherever they want you to play.
Sounds like Coach Underwood the other day said it. He's not worried about that.
Get a big opponent up there. Cool. It's pointless to have these stupid games that you have up there against nobodies.
I like it.
Alcohol sales for those that aren't just in the club.
I'm all right with that.
The revenue.
I was
get the
asked,
revenue flowing in. People are going to buy a beer.
Yeah. As a season ticket holder, that was one of the questions that was asked.
Yeah. And you should be able to take your beer to your seat.
And my final one before we get to Dion, run the Illinois Marathon. I want Josh Whitman to run the Illinois. He started that little running club last year where they were meeting and Gross ran with him.
He's a 4-mile guy.
Okay, well, he could do the whatever that is.
Was that a contract stipulation with Underwood that he now has to do the Saturday morning runs?
Can you imagine?
He and Lovey?
Lovey
would rather just bench some weight.
Lovey's like,
I'll just ride a golf cart around and hang out.
And he's so cool, he'd look good doing it, so why not? Yeah, just run the, not the marathon, run the 5K, Josh.
Oh, he could do that in his sleep.
Easy. Well, then do it. That's
do the
what
half.
I wanted to do.
Do the half.
Okay. Little challenge.
I could try that, but I'd probably die.
You can start Sunday, because tomorrow we're giving you the day off.
That's right. Deion Thomas, Illini Radio Network, Big Ten Network, coming up next.
It is the Tay and J Show.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka. While I love my role on ESPN Radio, hanging out with Mel Kiper Jr. every Saturday morning for Dari and Mel, I also love my TV role with the SEC Network. So naturally, people are asking me, what does it mean that of the 4 Sweet 16 games tonight, 3 involve SEC teams? It means that the SEC is a pleasant surprise, yes, but it also means that many people are committing one of my major pet peeves, judging an entire conference on the performance or play of a couple of teams over a short period of time. We do this all the time. It happens in football, too. Ohio State and Michigan are both in the top 5. The Big Ten is a beast. Whoa! Don't forget about Illinois, Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers, Maryland. They're in the Big Ten, too, right? So when we watch the NCAA tournament games tonight, let's appreciate the fact that the SEC has 3 teams this far. Nobody saw that happening. But let's also understand it's not necessarily a statement of the league. Yes, the league is getting better. There's no doubt about that. But let's give individual credit to Kentucky and maybe even more so South Carolina and Florida. Those are basketball teams that are really good at the perfect time. In 60 seconds, it's kind of an ugly part of recruiting.
AutoZone is proud to introduce new Duralast GT brake pads. They're race ready, just like ones used by Team Penske. So you might be wondering, what is race ready? Well, if you guessed, incredible stopping power and pro-grade performance with carbon fiber technology and V-slot design that reduces wear and increases stopping so that when you drive fast, you can stop even faster. You wouldn't be wrong, technically. New Duralast GT brake pads, proven tough from the tracks to the streets, and only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. It's a great time to buy a home. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or an experienced one, Quicken Loans has options that may help you get pre-approved for a mortgage with as little as 1% down. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.375%, APR 4.6%. Call 800-QUICKEN today or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Are you following the story of Michael Porter Jr.? The number 1 ranked basketball high schooler in the country was just granted his release from Washington. He requested that after his dad was part of the fired basketball coaching staff with the Huskies. Incidentally, his dad, Michael Porter Sr., has since been hired by Missouri and first-year head coach Cuonzo Martin. Now, I'll admit, I have no idea how good a coach Michael Porter Sr. is, but something just gives me a little bit of an eerie feeling, as though perhaps, maybe, Porter is in such high demand because of his son. And there isn't anything wrong with that, technically. It just feels kind of like the dad might be benefiting from the son. Something that seems to be happening quite a bit these days. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari.
UVI Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Bring into double points now through the end of May with the Illini Visa Rewards Card and the U of I Community Credit Union. Double points are waiting for you. Now through the end of May, use your Illini Visa Rewards Card on purchases for lawn and garden, sporting goods, nurseries, and home improvement stores and score double points. Plus, you can earn an extra 1,000 bonus points when you use your Illini Visa for 20 or more transactions each month. Use those points to purchase once-in-a-lifetime trips and experiences. Not a member yet? Visit IlliniCard.org today.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Mike Carpenter, Jeremy Werner. I think that might be the first time I ever went Carp in front of Werner. That was kind of weird.
Carp passed me up.
Wow.
I'm third billing.
No, you know why he's on my mind so strong? Because he brought some kind of food in here, and I walked into the studio. I'm like, what is that smell? Yeah. What is it?
It is a chicken and vegetable frozen thing.
Oh, okay.
It has more edamames in it, actually.
Oh.
Doubling up on the edamames.
I love it.
It's like a kind of good smell, but kind of funky smell.
I'm sorry.
It's strong.
Is it pungent?
It's strong, but it's not bad.
Stings the nostrils.
It does sting the nostrils, no doubt. All right, it is, of course, the Tay and J Show, and on Fridays, we always visit with our guy from the Illini Radio Network and the Big Ten Network, and that's Dion Thomas.
Brought to you by Guth & Associates, a boutique real estate brokerage company specializing in commercial property. We can talk on this show.
No, we need to start over.
Whether you're going to lease, buy, or sell, we are ready to represent you at Guth & Associates. Visit Joe Guth at GuthAndAssociates.com.
Dion Thomas, how are you, my friend?
Hey, doing well, gentlemen. How about you guys?
We are doing well as well.
Illinois basketball has a head coach, Brad Underwood. What do you think of the hire?
Hey, I mean, I'm pretty excited about it, man. I mean, he's going to bring an extremely exciting style to Champaign-Urbana. One, to be honest, that hasn't been there before, so, it's going to be fun. I'm really interested to see how he implements it and who he brings in to get things done.
Dion, was that a guy, when you first heard about this hire, was that a guy where, first of all, came out of the blue for you, and number two, how much kind of, looking into Brad Underwood did you have to do, or are you pretty up to speed on his teams? Of course, it's Stephen F. Austin and then the 1 year at Oklahoma State.
Well, I was more familiar with him from Stephen F. Austin than from Oklahoma State, of course. But of course, when I was at UIC, SFA is on our level, so the same level of team. So I knew the name, I will say I did have to go back and kind of do a little bit of homework, but
Right.
I do that on everybody. I even do it on you, Lon.
What? Oh, that's some
Yeah,
bad.
man.
That's bad,
You know, you got to check out the people you talk to. You can't just be talking to anybody.
I love it.
But no, of course, and having watched the Michigan game when they played Oklahoma State, I knew the name, so it was really interesting to see the actual style out on the court, because you hear about what he did at Stephen F. Austin, but we really didn't play them. But we're kind of recruiting the same level of guys, because I did a good job of recruiting Texas.
Yeah, okay. Deion Thomas, Illini Radio Network. I want to ask you this as a former player and even as a coach. What do you listen for at the initial press conference? And does the press conference matter? I know for a lot of people, it's kind of that first chance to get to know Brad Underwood as the coach or whoever is introduced as the new coach. How much do you as a former player really listen in on that press conference? And what do you want to hear from him?
Well, I'll tell you, because we were lucky enough. We had him on the halftime show of the Boise State game.
Nice.
And he and I share a mutual friend in Frank Martin, of course, the South Carolina coach. So what I wanted to hear, and as a player, you really want to see if the styles mesh. Let me say that. If you're because he likes to play fast. So if you are a bigger, not as athletic player, then maybe that's not something that fits you. So you kind of want to listen for that. And if you're a player that it does fit you, how you play, then you really get excited about that situation, because it just seems like it opens doors for you. And as a coach and as a fan, I guess, like you said, it gives you a look at who the person is. It gives you a little bit of an idea of what style he wants to run. I mean, I always, even when I recruit kids, I look at their home life. You try to look at the parents in the stands and things like that. So you want to look and see if the family's there to support you and things of that nature. And I see that his family is extremely close, and I think that also gives you a little bit of a window as to the person that he is. I mean, if his wife and kids are there the way they were with him, coming up on the trip and everything else, and that lets you know that he values his family. And as a kid, I think that's really important. And as a parent of a player or student athlete that may be possibly paying for him, you want to know that he's going to take care of your kid. I mean, because that's what parents essentially do is they bring him to campus. They say, "Here you go, coach. He's yours for 4 years or for as long as he's here." And you want to make sure that your child, your student athlete, is in the right hands. And that was the question that I asked him. Well, not necessarily that question, but I asked him, Coach, having been under Coach Huggins, having been under Frank Martin, if there was one thing that you took from them that will serve you well here at Illinois, what is it? And without a heartbeat, Coach said, it's how you treat the kids. It's over-communicating with the kids. It's letting them know that you trust them so they can trust you, so you can do the best that you can for them both on and off the court while they're in school and when they finish as well, which is, immensely important, because, some situations people get lost. Once you leave school, they're not paying very much attention to you. So it was really good for me to hear that he is completely vested with the kids that are there now, the ones that he's going to bring in, so then they will truly understand. And when guys trust you, and I think I've said this in previous interviews, when the guys trust you, they'll run through a brick wall for you. They will listen to what you say. They will buy into what you're selling, and that is tremendously important.
Deion Thomas, Illini Radio Network, Big Ten Network as well. You can follow him on Twitter at Deion Thomas25. Deion, what are these current players in for when Brad Underwood comes? Because you said it, you got to be close with the kids because he drives them. I mean, if we see Frank Martin, Bob Huggins coming from that tree, they push him hard, or he pushes them hard. So what are they in for in this transition phase? And who do you think fits his system well that is returning on this roster?
Well, I mean, they're Coach was, Coach Gross and Coach, I believe, have a similar style as far as being high-energy guys, wanting to really push the guys to be their best. And that was one of the things I have to take off my hat for John and doing, is that you could tell that he cared about the kids, and I think they're going to get this same thing from Coach Underwood. Now, coming from the Frank Martin, Bob Huggins tree, he's probably going to be a little bit more intense. You know, there may be a few choice words that might fly around, but they're going to be out of love. They're going to be out of trying to make you be the best player that you could be, not, you know, to be derogatory in any way or to hurt the kids in any way. Let me say that. But it may be a little bit more intense than what they are previously used to. And you asked me, the second question was, who do I believe fits the style that they're going to be running?
Yep,
I
right.
think that's a great style for Tijon as he continues to grow and develop his outside shooting. I think Kipper Nichols would be excellent in that position, one, because he shoots the ball well when he's having an opportunity to get himself set. I think he can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. I think Finke fits this style because of his skill level and his basketball IQ extremely well. And, I mean, if you go down the line, I think DJ fits his system extremely well. And I think it could be a good system for Aaron Jordan as well, because what Coach looks for and what his style needs is guys that are long, athletic, that have a skill set, that have an understanding for the game of basketball, and I think those guys have that.
Dion, he's meeting with Jeremiah Tillman, 5-star prospect, tonight. What do you think? How do you think Brad Underwood sells his scheme to a big man? Because we think of speed and up and down the court. How do you think he sells this to Jeremiah Tillman tonight?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you play an up-tempo style of play, especially with someone that's coming in like Jeremiah, who is athletic enough to get up and down the court, who's nimble enough to run. But now you sell him on the development that he'll get being able to play this style of play. Because what's necessary is for him to be able to put the ball on the floor, at least one or two dribbles to get to the basket, for him to be able to shoot the outside shot, which allows him to continue to be able to continue to learn to post up and be able to play out of that style. I'm sure Coach will have some pick and roll things in there for him as well, or for any big for that matter. But I think this is a style that fits a player as he continues to develop, like Tillman as well.
Dion Thomas, the Illini Radio Network, Big Ten Network. You can follow him on Twitter. It's at Dion Thomas 25. Dion, you got to know Jamal Walker well, and you obviously understand the role of an assistant coach. I know we all are thinking, this is great, Jamal Walker's here, boom, Jeremiah Tillman's here. He's got a lot more, there's other things that Jamal Walker stands for and has to do, obviously, in the future. How big was that to retain him, and what do you think moving forward, how he'll do under Coach Brad Underwood?
Well, I mean, Jamal is an extremely bright guy. He knows the game of basketball. Of course, we know he knows how to recruit. So what he'll pick up, again, is learning, and this is what all assistant coaches do. The more people you work for, the more you learn, different styles and schemes and things like that. So this is a great opportunity for him to pick up more basketball knowledge from a proven coach that has done well wherever he's been. And, he showed you what he can do on his own. So now to be able to pull some more knowledge from Coach will make him that much better. And I think this style also fits. It's very similar. If you saw the way the guys started playing under Jamal, is very similar to the way Coach wants to play. Maybe a little bit more dynamic from Coach Underwood, but I think that motion and getting out and running and the guys playing free and being able to play together, and have fun, I think will really mesh with what Coach Underwood wants to do.
Dion, last time we had you on, Monday, after Gross got fired, you said this program needs a little orange blood with the coaching staff. Underwood comes here. Jamal Walker's kept on staff. You also probably will have Lamont Evans come in here. But Eddie Johnson was very vocal about an Illini getting an interview. And I don't think it's that kind of process where there's an interview that kind of takes place. But what did you make? Did you read Eddie's letter, and what did you kind of make of it? Because you seem to be echoing some of the sentiments you thought.
Well, Eddie's not the only one that's echoing those sentiments. I mean, he's just the one that verbalized it in an article. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are saying the same thing, not just former players, but just coaches I know here in the city are trumpeting the same thing. Because if you look at the way college basketball is going, a lot of schools, institutions are doing that very thing. I mean, they're bringing their guys back home. Why? Because when you go out to recruit or when you have kids on campus, I believe those people that have walked that campus, that have lived there, you know, they sell it a little bit better. And they sell it a little bit better because they have, you know, that it's not just a job. It's a job for them, but there's also the passion of having been there and served there and slept there and played there that I believe really connects with the kids. And if you look at the top programs around the country, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Arizonas, well, they're not a top program now, but they'll be back. The Kentuckys, you look at the Connecticut, they've all have understood that, hey, we need to bring our people back home. So I echo Eddie Johnson's comments. I think they're spot on. And I hope that's something that, you know, that they see and that they do. I can tell you by myself, and we've had this discussion before, if he called me, I'd be extremely happy to talk to him about it. And as I know other guys would as well. And because of our love for the University of Illinois.
Yeah, and Deion, that's where I was going to go next. And by the way, wouldn't we all poor Kentucky, right? I mean, poor Kentucky. That was kind of funny how you said, well, they're not on top, yeah, but they'll be back. It's like, oh, poor Kentucky's still playing. I'd hate to be them right now, right? And I'm not making fun of you.
I meant that. I was talking about Connecticut.
Yeah, right.
I said that.
Kevin Howie. Yeah.
No, I knew where you were going there, and I just started laughing, though. I'm like, oh, stinking Kentucky. No, but really, there are guys out there. Deion, you were an assistant. You were a head coach, ran a program, of course, then an assistant at UIC with Illinois ties. Roger Powell's out there. Jarrett Howard's out there. And I think where Eddie was angling it is that Illinois guy should get the interview for a head coaching job. Are you okay if it's an Illinois guy as an assistant?
Yeah, I am. Because I think that you could have, there's guys that could have been interviewed. And I understand what Eddie means. And again, like I said, I don't disagree with him.
Right.
But I also understand Josh's position in wanting to bring in someone that has that head coaching experience. Because let's be honest about this. Everybody's job depends on guys doing well. So if Josh brings in someone that's, say, a fan favorite, but it tanks, that looks bad for Josh. You know,
right?
And he doesn't want it to look bad for him because his family has to eat as well. I mean, so I completely understand, but I understand where Eddie is coming from as well. I mean, an interview, you know, because it just hasn't happened, and I think a lot of the guys, especially the older guys, I've looked at this from afar and it's like, okay, you know, why aren't any of our guys even getting looked at? You know, again, because this is what others around today I just read that Georgetown may be hiring Patrick Ewing.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I mean, so they're looking to bring back their own blood. So I understand what Eddie's saying, but for me, I think there just needs to be some there, period. I mean, if it's an assistant coach, great. If it's a head coach, great. You know, it was great to get Josh back as the AD, so now we have an Illini as the AD. And just looking for a little bit of that to filter down, of course.
Deion, I think this is fair, and I'll tell you why. Because immediately, like we just had a text from somebody who said, you know, ask Deion who he thinks is qualified to be a coach that's an ex-player. And maybe they're being honest. I don't know. But I've heard a lot of backlash out in the community of saying, well, why do these guys automatically think they should be the next coach? I think it's easy to go down that level. But, Deion, I think I'm with you as well on this with regards to this. I'm not sure, and I kind of questioned you on this. Are you prepared? Would you right now think that you'd be prepared to be this head coach of this university? And you kind of answered it in your previous answer. And I don't think Jarrett is ready, and I don't think Roger is ready. But I don't think that Illini fans should automatically just stuff that notion of saying that there shouldn't be a former Illini as an assistant on this staff. So I appreciate you saying that because maybe that's going to happen now. Maybe that'll happen down the road, and maybe then it'll take off, and we'll all look back and say, you know what, Deion and those guys were right.
Well, you know, and I understand the fans as well as they should be, but I'll tell you this. Basketball has not changed a whole lot since Dr. Naismith had created it.
Right.
It's gotten faster. You know, guys are more athletic. You know, they're bigger, stronger, faster, but you still have to shoot that ball in the peach basket. You know, so when people say, you know, like it's rocket science, it's not rocket science.
Got it.
You know, so that's the only thing, and I think that's what Eddie is saying is, hey, these guys have been involved, they've been around, they've been recruiting, they've been this. You know, give them a shot, you know, and you never know what might happen.
Sure, that makes
sense.
sense.
And I think that's where he was going with that. And I think people, you know, when they're looking on the outside in, will say, okay, well, you know what? No, that guy's not ready. No one's ever ready until you sit in that seat.
Fair enough. I think that's fair enough.
You're never ready.
Yep.
I mean, when I got my head coaching job, as soon as I retired, I took a head coaching job in high school. And I can sit here and tell you, I was like, man, this is different than when I played. And then when I stepped up and I took the head coaching job in the athletic director's position at UIC, at Lewis and Clark, I said, man, this is different. But in my first year, I went to the national tournament. Second year, I was one turnover away from being in the national tournament again. I mean, and so when you get in there, and especially on the NCAA level, your staff is tremendously important. I don't care who you are. I had a buddy, Howard Moore told me, he said, Deion, he was like, you know what the worst mistake I made when I was coaching, and this was after he got fired at UIC. He was like, I chose the wrong staff.
Fair enough. Deion Thomas, great stuff, buddy. As always, Illini Radio Network, Big Ten Network. Follow Deion on Twitter, at Deion Thomas 25. It's always great to visit with you, my friend. We'll do it again next week, buddy.
Love you guys. You guys take care, man.
You too.
All right, thank you, Deion Thomas.
Talks brought to you by Guth & Associates, boutique real estate brokerage company specializing in commercial property. Whether you're looking to lease, buy, or sell, Guth & Associates ready to represent you. Visit them online at guthandassociates.com.
That's a magical sound, Carp. 5 at 5. What do we got?
We
for
have
topics.
Cool clothing brand.
Ooh.
Houdini. Sports peripheral figures. Vegetables. And Elton John.
Elton John.
Back
with the 5 at 5.
Partying, fun, looking forward to the weekend.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Flooring Surfaces is your premier source for new flooring in Central Illinois. You don't need to wander poorly lit aisles looking for help or load a new floor into a cart to check out. You need an inviting space filled with exciting new floors and a trained professional to guide you to the perfect choice for your home or project. Flooring Surfaces can find the hardwood, carpet, vinyl, or tile floor that is right for you. With a beautiful showroom and over 1 million square feet of flooring in stock. See us today at 401 East Mercury Drive in Champaign.
The world at your feet.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to spring into the season than Willow Pond Golf Course in Rantoul. Golf every day for $25 with a cart, and seniors can go Monday through Friday with a cart for just $20. Not a golfer? No worries. The 19th Hole Bar and Grill has great food and drinks, a great sports atmosphere, live video gaming, and the new Full Swing Golf Simulator. Call and schedule a tee time today at 893-9000. That's 893-9000.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda.
Let's go!
Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda.
Here we go.
Yes, I love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the four-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
When an accident occurs, you want to ensure your car is being taken care of by the best of the best. According to industry statistics, Tim's Auto Body is among the top 10% of collision repair businesses in the country. Major car brands have been quoted as saying that they're in an elite league as best in class when it comes to a business operation. Tim's Auto Body has been recognized nationally for their consistent high level of service and meeting customers' needs. With the complexity of today's vehicles, obtaining a certified collision center from some of the top manufacturers ensures Tim's Auto Body is up to date on all of the industry standards, as well as keeping their staff educated on all of the changes in the vehicle industry. Tim's Auto Body in Champaign. Why trust the safety of your vehicle with anyone else? Visit Tim's Auto Body at 701 North Madison, Champaign, or call 607-0119. Go to timtapman.com for more details.
Are you moving to a new home? Need extra storage for important business documents? Or need more space for commercial purposes? Storage 309 invites you to come store with them, and they guarantee you'll be glad you did. Whether you're storing your classic car, motorcycle, or boat, Storage 309 offers competitive rates and climate-controlled units. Conveniently located on South Staley Road in Champaign off Springfield Avenue, Storage 309 also offers convenient drive-up access for the cold winter months with a professional manager on site to assist you at any time. And they have 24-hour gate access, so you can visit anytime. So visit storage309.com for rates and to reserve your unit today.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying, yeah!
Oh, yes! It is that time for the Friday 5 at 5. Mike Carpenter, the established commissioner, comes up with 5 questions for Jeremy and I, and then he makes the ruling. We are ready for question 1.
Let's do it. Question number 1. Happy 66th birthday to Tommy Hilfiger, the designer who back in my middle school days made the coolest polos and T-shirts a 12-year-old boy could hope for. Think back to your younger years and the clothing brands that were considered cool by your peers.
Okay.
What brand was the coolest of them all?
I was looking at this question, and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I might need to Google this to remember something back then. Now, we had Pop the collar polo shirts back in the day, right?
That was big when
came back when I was in college.
Oh, did it really?
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those, like, I think my aunt and uncle gave me a polo shirt for Christmas one time, and I'm like, oh, I have a polo shirt. So one year for Christmas, I asked Mom and Dad for one thing, and it was jeans. And you know I don't have an affinity for jeans, but back then you did, because there were the old inverted triangle, the Guess.
Ooh.
Faded, baggy jeans that ruled the 80s. They were about $60 back in the day, which
with
today,
inflation,
would be about
$7,000.
Right, exactly. Now, mostly these were made for girls, and this actually Guess started off the modeling careers of a lot.
I was going to say, who is the main one?
Claudia Schiffer.
Claudia Schiffer,
That's
right?
it. Yeah. That's it. So, and they were always black and white photos.
Wing.
Yeah. So I for Christmas one year, I got those, and then when I got to college, not only were they still in style, but the bagginess allowed you to roll them up. Tight roll at the
there
bottom.
you go.
So the old Guess jeans, the old inverted triangle with Guess.
I could go with Jinko jeans back in the day.
Or DKNY.
Those are the big baggy ones.
Yes.
I was never into Abercrombie. I got an American Eagle. That was kind of my thing. But when I was
you weren't in the buckle?
When I was my brother was. But when I was a kid, the biggest thing was to have a starter jacket.
Oh, wow.
Whether it was a Charlotte Hornets or I had an Orlando Magic.
Why did everybody have Charlotte?
Because the colors, man.
Yes.
Teal
Is that what it
was
was?
in the 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
But I had Orlando Magic.
Nice.
And I also, my brother had the Chicago Bulls one. But that starter, that little pendant that had the zipper on it.
The
and
metal zipper.
And the little pocket in the front of it. I don't know why those were so cool, but everyone had it.
Why don't we have a starter jacket day? You know, we have these like puppy days on Facebook. I think everybody ought to find their starter jacket, bring it out, and post it on Facebook.
I wish I still had mine.
I think most homeless communities have them now.
I bet. That's probably true.
They aren't cool anymore. They will find their way back to frat houses in no time, just like those old jerseys.
No doubt.
I'm going to give this initial point to Jeremy, though I wasn't part of the guest thing. This lawn may prove your point about this being a bit biased.
I get through it. I work through it.
Question number 2. Today
Guess
also...
jeans, though. Girls look good in Guess jeans.
Liberal media.
Today also would have been Harry Houdini's 143rd birthday, and for all the death-defying stunts he pulled in this time, it wouldn't be all that surprising if he lived that long. Houdini was a huge celebrity in the early 20th century, and he always found ways to top his previous stunt. Which Houdini stunt is the most impressive?
I'm going to read this because I just read it today, and I don't know this by heart.
I don't know what it is.
In 1911, Houdini was performing in Boston, and 10 prominent businessmen challenged him to escape from the belly of a whale.
Yeah.
That stipulated that Houdini had to be shackled in handcuffs and leg irons supplied by police and then sewn up inside the whale's belly. Not one to refuse an exciting challenge, Houdini agreed.
Yeah.
He was shackled inside the carcass of a beached whale, tightly laced and completely wrapped in chains. 15 minutes later, he escaped smiling, but nobody had idea he nearly suffocated from the arsenic fumes from the chemicals that were used to embalm the whale.
Dude.
Escaping a whale's belly? That's ridiculous.
How does he...
Read about Houdini for those that... Just go to Wikipedia. It's incredible.
Because he died after one of his... He was submerged for like 91 minutes, then ended up dying later.
Yeah, he died around age 50, I think.
Yeah, just give this point to Jeremy. Mine is not exciting. It's the Chinese water torture. It's when they bound his legs and dipped him in head first. That point deserves Jeremy.
Oh.
Being inside a whale? Come on, a dead whale?
Chinese water torture would suck,
Punted a point.
All right, punted a point.
Yeah, that's... Come on.
Point punt.
Well, I feel like Guess Jean should have won one. So
that's true. Don't worry, Lon. I always found a way to get us back to question 5 tied up.
No, I'm
protest. It was under protest.
Question number 3.
I'm serious. That answer with the whale was great.
LeVar Ball is the father of Lonzo Ball, UCLA stud freshman and likely top pick in the NBA draft. Is that right? Is he probably the top pick?
Top three.
Okay.
Top 3.
LeVar Ball is also annoyingly loud and brash. So much so that Charles Barkley routinely pokes fun at him on the NCAA tournament pregame show. However, LeVar isn't the first peripheral figure in sports to elicit so much hatred from the masses.
Yes.
Think of agents, significant others, parents, so many other annoying individuals. Pick the most annoying peripheral sports figure.
This is still on the tip of my tongue. I told Carp this today. When you sent me these about 1 o'clock, I sat there thinking there is one person out there.
Describe them.
I can't. I just can't. It will not come to me. But I actually saw somebody last night, and it got my ire. And that's Bill Murray.
Oh.
Bill, who are you rooting for?
Well, son coaches
I know.
You know what? No, listen, if you're an Illinois fan, you stay here.
Exactly.
Or just get out.
But
Right?
it was Illinois, and it's Xavier now, and I get the coaches, but there was one in between. Wasn't there one last year where he went on a run with somebody?
Yeah. Well, Chicago Cubs, too. He was at
and
every
he was
single
the Cub
celebration.
thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not a rip on Bill. I love Bill. And I loved his fandom for the Illini. But it's gotten to that point where it's like,
Cherry-picked it.
oh, look, it's Xavier, and they're winning, and that should be the story, and now the story is going to be Bill Murray.
At least the guy from Parks and Rec has been here all along.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
true.
He's the Illini guy.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's more of just, I'm tired. Let Xavier be the story, Bill, not you.
All right.
I went with a guy who his movies are okay, but 90s basketball, I just got sick of him. Like, why is he
Are
the
you
guy?
going Spike?
Spike Lee.
That's who I was going to go with. Yeah.
Spike Lee.
I know.
Movies are overrated.
Oh.
See, I'm doing this to Carp so you can get the point.
I can't say Spike Lee's annoying. I mean, sure, he hasn't made a really great movie since The 25th Hour, but what are you going to do? He had a great start to his career. I'll give the point to Lon.
Okay.
I understand Spike Lee, a bit overexposure, but I kind of like those Samuel L. Jackson and Charles Barkley.
Those are kind of fun.
Okay. I mean, I've seen him 28 times in the last week. But.
Right.
Question number 4, Sunday is National Spinach Day, a nutritious green vegetable that pairs especially well with artichoke in dip form. You guys are both meat and potatoes types, but I'm guessing vegetables find their way onto your dinner plates on occasion. What is your favorite vegetable? And be specific. How do you like it prepared? What does it taste best with?
You said meat and potatoes, guys.
I know.
We're German meat and potato
We
guys.
really are, because I think we both were going to go with the same vegetable.
My question is, how would you prepare said potatoes?
Shredded potatoes. You hash browns, olive oil, simmer them up, but make sure they're brown on both sides so they're a little bit crispy, and then you salt the heck out of them. That's what I want.
Okay, mine would be very similar to that, so I'm going with another veggie.
Oh.
Because I was going to go with fried potatoes that my dad made when we would make bluegill, and it would be slice them into little round.
Butter the heck out of them.
Butter it. It's oiled, and then salt is so key. And you're right. I like the ones that are real crisp.
Yes.
But the other one I'm going with, and I think why it is such a huge vegetable, there's corn all year, right? But the maize, the corn on the cob, that you only get for a certain amount of time each year. It almost teases you every year, and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, is the corn on the cob, is that ready? Is the sweet corn ready? So I'm going sweet corn here with the veggie. Oh, you grill a ribeye on the grill and bring that in and eat it with a sweet. Oh,
keep the husk on.
Yes,
yeah.
So I'm going that
Grill it in the husk.
corn on the cob.
I'll go with Lon so we can get to the 5th question.
Yeah.
I do like potatoes better, but that's a more unique answer from Lon.
Thank you.
So,
and I did have potatoes, technically.
Question number 5.
Question number 5. Tomorrow is Sir Elton John's 69th birthday. He is one of the best-selling solo acts of all time.
One of Mama Warner's favorites.
Yeah, I mean,
Is he?
I saw him in concert back at the Assembly Hall back in 98 or so.
I Googled his songs.
So
There
many.
are so many good ones.
So, a prolific career, countless hits. And, of course, he was reintroduced, to a new generation with the soundtrack to The Lion King. So
Right.
you have a huge catalog to choose from. What is your favorite Elton John song?
I asked a buddy of mine today that's about 6 years older than me, and he picked a song that was right in his junior high days. And I looked down at what I had picked and found the year, and I'm like, that's right when I was in junior high. It must be something about Elton John really making an effect on us in junior high. This was a 1983 release. Never made it to number 1. Made it to number 2 and stayed there for about 4 weeks. It even has a legend on harmonica. That's Stevie Wonder. 9 words. I guess that's why they call it the blues. Oh, and I hit the wrong one. I hit the wrong one. That could not have gone any worse. Oh, and that one's not even Huey Lewis. Oh, boy. We are, This sometimes happens in live radio. I can sing it.
I even had Austin check.
Oh, no. Hey, I'll go with Huey Lewis.
I got it.
You got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Here it is.
Hold on. No, there's a
not
commercial
yet.
on the. Talk about the song.
Okay, I'll
Lon.
talk about the song because I told you everything I had about it. Stevie Wonder.
On the harmonica.
1983. Do you know it never made it to number 1?
Wow, that's
never
crazy.
made
All right,
it to
Lon,
number
we're
1.
good.
9 words. Kind of the video is like a 1950. A kid goes off to war, and his girlfriend ends up kissing another guy, but at the very end, they meet on a pier, and they hug, and it all works out.
Oh, that's good. 80s Elton John. That's a surprising pick.
And to add to it, I just looked in, and Harry Black is singing it.
Nice.
Okay. I think it's just one of those songs like he just did. You just sit there and all of a sudden you just catch yourself singing it.
Well, Tiny Dancer would probably be that number one.
Yeah,
for a
almost
lot of
famous.
people.
Did a lot for that
I mean,
song.
Ed Sheeran now sings about Tiny Dancer. So, all right, this one though, upbeat, 1974, number one in the U.S. I've always liked this song, but American Idol actually got me more into this song because
Really?
Haley Reinhart, who is a doll from
remember
Wheaton, Illinois, sang this song and she kind of gave it an edge.
Was she blonde?
Yes,
I do
curly
remember.
hair.
Yes.
Benny and the Jets.
I remember her performance.
Sold 2.8 million copies within 2 years.
The single or the album?
The single.
Okay.
Wow.
The album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road had a ton of it. This is the big song.
Elton John, man, he can sing.
Yes.
There he is, Benny and the Jets.
There you go.
I gotta say, I feel bad that the 5 and 5 seems to be following a trend. I mean, Benny and the Jets just trounces. I guess that's why they call it the Blues. That's just an utter abomination.
Really?
If I went, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? What would have won? What if,
Really?
What was the other ones?
I've always loved that.
Was
I guess
Circle
why
of
they called
Life
it the
his? Yeah.
Yeah, I would still, Hey,
don't sleep on Guess Jeans. Don't sleep on Guess Jeans, man.
I may have screwed up on the Guess Jeans.
No,
If I did Candle in the Wind.
No, the starter's jacket was good. Jeremy kicked my butt today.
You know what's weird about Candle in the Wind? He released the remake of it
The
like
Diana
a
version.
month later.
I like.
I mean, that was
song.
quick.
I like Candle.
But I guess all the proceeds did go to charities.
Got to capitalize, Carp.
Everyone bought that single.
How
right?
quick can you pull up Kid Rock? How quick can you do that? And I'll tell everybody about our guest today, which we appreciate. As always, Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com, and also Dion Thomas, Illini Radio Network. It is the Tay and J Show. We'll see everybody on Monday. Nancy Faye, new Illini women's basketball coach, will be with us on Monday. Have a great weekend.
It's warming up around Champaign, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through April and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
Hey, Frankie, what you got there? It's an Italian hero from Subway.
A lot of meat on that sandwich.
Well, yeah, Mrs. G. It's got mortadella, spicy capicola.
Capicola. Nice.
Genoa salami, oil and vinegar.
Is that Mediterranean oregano I smell?
Yeah, Mr. Antonelli.
What did I tell you? That thing is loaded.
That's a nice sandwich. You did good, Frankie. Real good.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks. Everybody?
Subway has the authentic taste everyone loves. Introducing the Italian Hero. It's our better Italian flavor for a better Subway. Limited time only.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.